AD has approved KC-1400 Collective. Everybody want to hear me say that? This is what it's all about. They're around. They are supporting. The money is going directly to our student athletes. They're signing deals. They have contracts. Let's do it. I mean, without this collective, we won't be successful. We won't be able to sustain our student athletes. I mean, 1400 Collective have done a really, really good job of keeping a lot of our athletes here. You know, if you saw them sign a lot of our athletes, but we got to do our part. So I know after today, we're going to click that 1400 Collective. We're going to give one of those tiers, and we're going to make sure that we give to this collective so we continue to give to our student athletes and support them and give them what I need. And I want to thank you all, Ken, TD, D-Core, C, T-Dub. Yeah, T-Dub, everyone that created and helped create it. I know I'm missing some names.
Jackson State has a collective full throttle. They have a collective full throttle. And I mean, like, so they, you know, we won the national championship in 2023, and we were slowly but surely trying to get our collective going. Jackson State won it this past year. Their collective is full throttle. Like, it is full throttle. They don't want to lose. They didn't want to lose anybody. And they went full throttle. And I mean, that's you correct if I'm wrong. That's what happened.
What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Y'all come on in, man. Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Hopefully you guys had a great day today. I had a pretty good day. Pretty good day, man. Can't complain. It's Wild Out Wednesday, man. Gonna have a great show for you guys. Gonna get into a little bit of everything tonight, man. Looks like we're gonna have a new mayor in the city of Jackson. Got to talk about that. So, brother C. Lee, whenever you get ready, we gotta talk about that. I see Trent. Trent, what's up, baby? I see you out there, man. Hey, you got to come up here and talk to us, man, tonight, baby. We're gonna have to get into these little politics of the city, man. But y'all know we love to. We don't mind having a in-depth conversation. What's up, fellow Jacksonians? What's good? How you doing, man? I'm doing all right. I'm feeling all right. I had one of them days today. I'll say this, man. You know how you be working out, and man, you hit them days, man. You don't feel like doing it. You're tired, man. Like, man, I don't want to do it, man. So I I was like, man, I don't want to do it. And boy, it took everything in me to get out there and hit it today. I still hit it though. I hit it hard, man. So usually those be the days that you make progress, man. So you got to keep going. I had to find every single, hey, what's up, Rhema? What's up, my girl? What it do, baby? You know what? I'm glad you popped up on this thing. I will talk about you a little bit tonight. You know what I'm saying? I ain't met you yet, but she done signed for it. Look at her. She done popped up in here on us. So, Rhema, everybody been jumping down on my throat, jumping down my throat. It's Pegues, right? It's Pegues. It's Pegues. You gotta break it, put the enunciation of how it's supposed to be in the chat for me. Cause I ain't trying to tear your name up. My good Miss Goggle Girl in the chat tonight, man. Good to see you, man. So you stole my thunder already. She's officially signed. That's always good. A commitment is great, but you want to get signed. So she's officially signed. It's Rhema. My bad. See, I'm working on the last name and messing up I was looking at Rhema. That's what I was saying, but it's Rhema. Rhema Pegues. Rhema Pegues. Break that last name down for me. Make sure I got the enunciation right. We don't want to mess that up, because our announcer will tear your name up. Don't come for it. Perfect. All right. Miss Rhema Pegues. All right. And then listen, you got a new teammate that just signed as well. Kind of caught us off guard. I mean, Coach Morgan and her staff are over there recruiting, and we just added Miss Derica McCall. Derica McCall played in the SWAC earlier on in her career before taking the JUCO route, heading over to Shorter University, and had a really good season. And now she is coming to play for the Lady Tigers with Coach Margaret Richards and staff. And man, this team is really starting to take the type of shape that we like with I know we saw my girl TK hit the portal, but you said, yeah, y'all go. Hey, listen, no pressure. You know, it ain't nothing but a little swag championship. That's all it is. We ain't looking for nothing but a little swag championship, Raymond. You know what I'm saying? So, Lisa, how your mom? Lisa, how's your mom? How's your mom? Matter of fact, I tell you what, since you in the chat, I'm gonna drop the link. You come on up and say hey to everybody. How about that? I don't know if you ain't got to be on camera, but you can come say hey if you like to. It's Wild Out Wednesday, it's unpredictable. We got a lot to talk about tonight. But we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into a little bit of everything. We're gonna talk about the latest and greatest, all the updates. And then we got the NFL draft kicks off tomorrow. We got some Jackson State Tigers. Let me get that former stuff out of it. We got some Jackson State Tigers that's gonna get their name called tomorrow in the first round. So I'm excited about that. But nevertheless, we're in a situation. Welcome, Derica. Yeah. Coach Cozy, one of the best collective sales folks out. He is. But no, if you look at the team that Coach has put together, you got Miss Chocho, Pierre Noel, and you got Miss Layla Grant, two high schoolers that'll be coming in to join this Great Ladies Tiger roster. And then you look at Cookie, Angel Wilkerson, star at the JUCO level, looking to do. So I'm not sure where to find it. Just click. You can click that link. This link right here. If you click that link in the chat, it'll take you straight to. It'll bring you straight to me. So I just dropped the link in the chat. This is a surprise. It's impromptu. We might as well go ahead and we normally do our interviews on Wednesday. So since you're in the chat and since you just signed to become a Tiger in the JSU Sports Chat, you might as well come on up and talk to us. Let people get to know you. Coming in, hailing from Olive Branch, Mississippi. It's not Memphis now. It's not Memphis. I was told don't make that mistake. Shout out to my peoples over in Memphis, Tennessee, but this ain't Memphis. Olive Branch ain't Memphis. They had to make sure they let me know that. And I understood that already. Is Derica related to former Tiger coach Derek McCall? So that question was asked, and I don't have an answer yet. I don't. TJ, what's up, bro? DeSoto County in the house. Yes, indeed. So if you just click that, let me do it again. I'll put it. Look at the chat. I'm going to drop it in the chat real quick. If you just click that link that I'm posting in the chat, look in the comment section of the video. And you just clap where it says StreamYard, HTTPS, StreamYard. Damn near Memphis, yeah, but it ain't. You know what I'm saying? Ken Dog, what's good? What's good, Justin? How you doing, bro? Man, I'm great, man. I am great. It's a great day to be a Tiger, as always. And just getting through this transfer portal week. We took another hit from the transfer portal this week. Someone that got a lot of love for, near and dear to my heart. You guys know that, and we'll talk about that a little later on in the show. We're gonna give Miss Rhema. We're gonna give Miss Rhema an opportunity to hop on this. Oh, there she go. Hey,
what's up?
And my girl go, what's up? What's happening with you?
Nothing much. How you doing?
Man, I'm good. Well, welcome to Tiger Nation.
Thank you.
So you got me straight. It's Rhema Pegues, right?
Yes, sir. Rhema Pegues.
Pegues. All right, everybody. I be butchering names, so you got to forgive me.
It's fine.
I'm good. So how you feeling? How does it feel to be a Jackson State Tiger?
Honestly, it's an honor. I mean, the love that I've gotten, I feel like, it definitely wasn't like an overnight thing that you all have built and everything. And so I feel like it's a foundation of you all, and that really, really made me feel at home. But I'm happy to be back home. I feel like I played my best basketball in Jackson. I mean, I won 3 state championships in high school there. And so... It's not. It's like that's what I said. I was like, I feel like I play my best basketball there. So it's like, and even being able to see the Coliseum, like that's a daily motivator for me because it's like that's where I did a lot of my jobs there. So it's just now being able to be back home and just get some energy in the gym. Be in the gym with some energy and just feeling revived and rejuvenated. I'm ready.
Hey, y'all see Tiger Nation. We can't let her down. Y'all know we got to pack the AAC.
My family coming too. You got to know that.
We need all of them in the house. We need all of them in the house on Thursday nights. Thursday evenings. on Saturday evenings, man, we got to pack that thing, man. I love your energy. I didn't get a chance to watch you play. I gotta go, check out some clips. I did see some highlights, but I didn't follow. I wasn't paying that much attention to it when you were winning them championships. So you say you won three in a row?
Yes, sir. In high school, I won 3 consecutive state championships. 1 in 5A, 2 in 6A.
Now, that's impressive. That's impressive. Well, congratulations to that. So when you left, you were Gatorade, you Mississippi Player of the Year, 6A. When you left, and when you did leave, my question to you was: you chose North Alabama. You got a chance to go over there. Let's talk about a little bit of your time over in North Alabama.
You said what happened?
You can't hear?
I can hear you now.
You can hear me now?
Yes. Can you repeat what you said? Yeah, it broke up a little bit.
No, I said so when you left Olive Branch, you were the Player of the Year for the state of Mississippi. You choose North Alabama. Let's talk about some of your time over in North Alabama, how they went for you, and what made you make the decision to enter the transfer portal to look for a new place to play basketball.
Yes, sir. North Alabama, honestly, Florence is my home. Honestly, it really was hard even leaving because I'm somebody that's very built. I'm rooted in stability, and so I don't, like to jump around a lot and everything like that. My family's always taught me you finish how you started, and you just do what you do with the stack of cards that you've been dealt. So I've honestly, just found that in this process that I had to find a school that was willing to reciprocate what I'm willing to give every day. And so I feel like Jackson State gave that to me day in and day out. They called me consistently. They recruited the crap out of me. So, and it made me feel good because I was like, to be home is no better place than home. And so it was just we, lined my visit up and everything. And I had no expectation of committing, but it was like when I got there and I was able to just actually be on the campus and just feel the love from the coaches and just being in the gym. I haven't practiced there in a while, but I mean, nonetheless, I was just excited to be back in the gym and just know that I actually have an opportunity to go do some big things with my teammates.
That's big, man. That's big. I really, we love Coach Morgan and her staff and what she was able to do. She got in May of last year, so
yes, sir.
We are 1 year removed. She and her staff was able to simulate a roster we didn't know what to expect, and they had a phenomenal year, had a winning season, and we were one possession away from potentially tying for overtime or winning in the semifinals of the SWAC championship tournament. And I like what she's doing, man. I like what she's doing. I know Tiger Nation is used to Jackson State women's basketball being on top. Shout out to Coach Tamika Reed, who won six of them. She went over to Charlotte and paved the way for Coach Richards. But that warms my heart up to know that you're happy to be home. I mean, I know this is gonna get everybody kind of fired up because they'll be looking forward to it now. We got a ways to go.
I'm glad. It's a lot to be looking forward to. I mean, honestly, myself coming from this, my institution, it being just a PWI and transferring to HBCU, I feel like that's definitely going to be a new experience for myself. But I'm somebody that's very community oriented. I'm very family oriented. So when you meet me, you're going to get a person with a big personality. But I mean, nonetheless, my energy is very consistent. So I'm excited to be there. I'm excited to be back home for sure.
I love this, man. I really do. I do. Usually, I'm going to ask you this because you see a lot of kids that if they start off in an HBCU, they may be more apt to want to transfer out to a PWI. You're actually doing the exact opposite. How important is it to get that HBCU experience? I know Jack State is one of 100 plus. I think it's 103, 107, whatever number that is. But here you are getting the opportunity to play in front of, a crowd of fans that's probably going to look just like you know what I mean, and your family. And that's a big thing for some, but we don't take that lightly. We take pride in that. So just talk about how that feels to be at an HBCU and play for an HBCU, the greatest HBCU.
I know that's right.
I know we got some other people looking, but we take pride in our Tigers, man.
Yes, sir. Honestly, the HBCU experience is something that I've been very interested in. When I got to college, I really didn't know much about the variations of institutions that could be found. But when I got to college, I was able to see that I'm somebody that I fit I typically kind of like a chameleon. I kind of, blend in with my surroundings and stuff like that. But being here, it really made me that much more diverse. But it was like, it's not many of us, that are our color. So I was more so looking at it from the perspective of I get a chance to come back home in an environment that is going to provide me with that support that I know that I need, but also
Yeah.
that push. That I'm going to
Yes.
be surrounded by my kind that they're ambitious at JSU. That's one thing that I definitely commend the Coach Richards and just the players and even just the student athletes in general there. Everybody has a goal, and I'm honestly very excited to be a part of it. Everything is just so structured, and I really appreciate that because for me, it's like a lot. I know a lot of people have different stereotypes and everything, but I genuinely feel like JSU is nonetheless it owns up to its hype, and I'm happy to be a part of it now.
You getting some fans in the chat. They loving your energy and all that good stuff. Say we got you, D. We love this beautiful young lady already. Let me say this to you. I want to get into a little bit of basketball. I played a little basketball in my day. Went JUCO and retired. Right. So anyway, that's my favorite sport. It's what I played all my life. Let's talk about your playing style. For those who don't know you, they let you know goggle girl. You got all this great energy. Let's talk about Rhema, the basketball player, and how
Right.
we know what you were in high school. How has that 2 years at North Alabama? Is it 2 years? I think you were there.
3.
3 years. Okay, 3. I want to make sure I get that right. So you're 3
Yes, sir.
years playing, developing. What type of player is Jackson State getting right now?
Jackson State is actually just getting a all around player. I'm somebody that considers myself to be I'm an adapter. I'm the trash player. I'm whatever my team needs me to be and where they need me to be. That's where I want to be most effective at. And I'm just somebody that loves learning my teammates. I love learning where everybody likes, certain passes, certain shots, just learning play styles of my teammates and just adapting myself to that. And so for me, it's like, coming from high school, I was strictly more of a 3-point shooter and a defender. And then it was like I got to college and I more so became, a better help side defender and offensive or consistent offensive shooting threat.
Okay.
My first year and then my second and third year, I became more of a driving threat and I just kind of made the system into my own. But nonetheless, it was definitely worth it having the experience. But I feel like now I get to come to JSU and put it all together and, make it
Yeah,
a big thing. So I'm excited.
I like that. So I'm
Yes,
hearing a
sir.
little bit of everything. Shoot the 3 ball, can drive off the dribble now, play some
And a
defense.
lefty.
I was just about to get there. I say she's a southpaw. She's shooting that thing from the left side. Hey, I gotta be honest. I hated checking people that were left-handed. I hated checking.
Why?
It was just a different. Everything was reversed. You know what I mean? So you kind of get used to your defensive stances, but at the end of the day, your principles stay the same.
Right.
Use your baseline, and you don't let them beat you over the top. You know what I mean? Put your teammates in trouble or whatnot. But you said something that I like because you said I'd be a better help side defender. I said, oh, she know a little basketball.
Yes,
He
sir.
just talking about just defense in general. You know what I mean? He said, whoa, female version of me. This is Coach E6. He used to be on the football field, but now he's been transitioned into a coach. And he said we got to see about the good
Oh,
stuff.
hey, you gotta hit me up. You gotta hit me up about them charges. Hit me up about the charges.
But no, I love that. Without saying too much, did Coach kind of talk to you about what she saw your vision for her? I mean, for you in this Jackson State Tigers program and what you could do for this team?
That was the first thing that they showed me. That
Okay.
and honestly, truthfully speaking, that's what made me commit. They set it all out for me. I mean, they did so much in recruiting me when I got there and everything. They had like this board. They had like a PowerPoint for me, and
Oh
it
yeah.
was they with my favorite color, pink.
Okay.
They had my
Okay.
favorite color. It was a puzzle piece, so it was blue. I think it was like based like blue, and then the color piece was pink. And then it was a picture of me in North Alabama, and it says, what makes you the perfect fit?" And then along with that came a highlight video that showed, where I would fit. And it made me very excited because it was like not only did they put my shooting, clips in there, they put my driving clips, they put a lot, my defending, my finishing, my just different elements of my game they put it on there, and her being willing to allow me to come in and just, being an experienced player and stuff like that, being able to be alongside, her players that she already has and the newcomers that are coming as well with me. I'm I'm excited because she's a heck of a coach.
Yeah.
I played against her. I think all both of my first 2 years when I got here in North Alabama, we played at A&M when she was there. And
Okay.
I said they beat us and everything like that. But I had a pretty good shooting game against them last year. My sophomore year, I went 4 for 7 from the three that game. And so I was just
Oh
like,
yeah, I
and we were
love it.
talking about that, but I was going to say they definitely were able to show me exactly where I fit in. And it's honestly not asking me of too much. So I was going to say is exactly where I want to be.
Hey, man, this is hey, shout out to Coach Margaret and staff again. I mean, listen, they do a really good job of recruiting. I've been in a couple of conversations with one potential teammate. We'll see if she commits or not. But I love that, man. How have you been able to get acclimated with some of your teammates? Have you been in any conversations with some of the young ladies that have committed thus far, and some of the teammates that are there? I know J5 is there. My girl Massinette, Miss Ruthie, a few of the others. I know TK just hit the portal, but how have you been able to start building that camaraderie and that rapport with your new teammates that's coming up?
I've been able to build actually a really good relationship with them. Me and J5, we have conversations here and there and stuff like that. But nonetheless, they're always about us just, being excited about working together and everything. And so me and Mastinette, of course, she was actually one of the people that I asked Coach Richards about, like, if she was returning, because I watched the game against Grambling State. And when she
Yeah.
came out back to back to back, I was like, that's my girl. I was like, I love that. Because I'm a high volume player. So it's like, being able to see somebody else as well as her being a lefty, it's like,
Yep.
oh, it's, I'm just saying it's lit. I'm excited. I'm very excited. Nonetheless, we're going to put in the work. We're going to do what we need to do. But Coach Richards has definitely recruited a lot of girls that have just, they show that they're dogs that they wanted and stuff like that. I've, reached out to Layla. I've reached out to Pierre and everything like that. And, just, send like the little hearts and the tiger and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
other than that, I mean, me and my teammates, I feel like, we're going to make some stuff happen, and I'm very excited about it.
I love that. I do. So is there a WNBA player that you follow? Maybe college basketball. I know women's basketball, WNBA, is taking the world by storm, with the likes of Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese last year. I actually attended my first WNBA game last year. I had to go see the diva, Miss Angel Reese. I thought that was pretty cool. But talk to us a little bit about maybe a few players you keep up with, that you watch, maybe pattern your game after, that you like, that you're a fan of.
Yes, sir. For me, Olivia Miles is my favorite basketball player of all time.
Okay.
I was gonna say she wears goggles. I'm pretty sure everybody knows who that is. But she played at Notre Dame. Now she's going to TCU. But she is somebody that I definitely watch day in and day out. I watch class. Actually, whenever I'm sitting in my apartment, this is what I do. I come home in the evening and I study, and I have my little setup. And then on my TV, I usually have YouTube playing with like her clips or just like some NBA clips and stuff like that. But typically, I like to my top 3 players that I've always just tried to imitate in some forms of my game is Olivia Miles, James Harden, and Kevin Durant. I was going to say each of them I've been able to pull distinct things from them that I could add to my game as far as just the versatility portion of it, shooting, finishing, passing IQ, being just your vision, your IQ, your IQ in general of just knowing the floor, knowing where everybody's at, being able to read weak side and everything like that. Just being all around, being an offensive threat, just learning how to enhance my game in that area. So I'm excited.
That's good stuff, man. That's a really good trio. Olivia Miles, James Harden, man, KD.
I was gonna say KD, but only thing about the thing about it is that makes them distinct for me is because KD, I took on his one dribble pull up. That was something that that was like a foundational thing for me. I learned that well on, my father. We did a lot of form shots and stuff growing up. So
Yeah,
it was like for me, I really wanted to get acclimated with being able to not just be a stationary shooter. I wanted to be able to be, well-conditioned shooter, somebody that can, pull the trigger at any time, from distance, up close, like wherever it just, wherever it may need to happen. But that for James Harden, he's left-handed, so being able to just
yep,
basically see all the different, finishes and just the craftiness portion of it that I could just what all I can do as a left-handed player, just seeing somebody that does that. And then as far as Olivia Miles, I mean, she's just the girl version, I feel like, of them both. Like she does everything, but she also sees the floor like no other. And she
yeah.
plays defense like, and she's very lanky. She likes to be in the passing lanes, and that's something that I'm, striving to be better at personally myself because I know that I'm not perfect. So, but I'm
Yeah.
willing to work. That's one thing about me. I'm willing to work. And so that's, an area that I also see myself being able to be better at. The more that I study, her and I, mimic those things and, put in my work.
I mean, that's outstanding stuff. I mean, I think we think the world of Coach Margaret Richards and her staff. She is a very tough-nosed coach. She really is intense, and she demands a lot from her players. I think I think she's gonna really like you, simply because
I want it. That's my whole thing. I want it to be
yeah.
coached. I came to be coached.
Man, it's so I mean that. Look, shout out to your parents, shout out to your support system, shout out to all of that because that's something that's kind of rare these days. You don't really
Yes, sir.
you got a lot of players that think they know the game. I tell everyone, I played basketball my whole life, but I didn't learn how to play basketball until I got to college. Like
Right.
really learn the game to be able to
Exactly.
dissect it, really look at what I'm understanding, different sets. We had a coach that was very demanding on defense. You had to keep your knees bent. You know what I mean? You had to see ball and man. And I can't coach basketball. I just go to football. I just go because I get so annoyed with watching basketball now because I can't turn it off. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I understand that. But that's great stuff right there, man. That's absolute great stuff. So let me ask you this real quick, and I won't keep you too long.
Yes, I know you're good. I'm gonna say I came on here to chat with you guys. I was to say everything's all finalized. So hey.
Hey, I love it, man. I absolutely love it. So I guess the next thing I was gonna ask, man, is there a give me your team? I know the NBA playoffs just started. Is there a team that's a favorite of yours and somebody that you're watching? Who you checking out?
Only person I'm really watching is just Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I mean, that's
Okay.
honestly, I was gonna say Shai.
Is he MVP? Come on now.
I don't know. I don't know. It really depends for me. I love Jokic. I really do. I really, really do. And
I like
so,
Jokic. I do too. I like
but
him. I like him.
it's just like for me, I feel like what his game represents, I feel like I'm biased because he's multi-positional. So he's not limited in what it is that he can do. Shay, he's great. He can do whatever he wants to do, his size and everything is fine. But it's just like I feel like who has to work a lot of times who has to work harder. Jokic. I mean, you getting beat up, you on one of the biggest positions, if not the biggest position on the court, while also trying to facilitate, while also trying to get a bucket, while also trying to defend, get rebounds. Like it's a lot that factor
Now,
into being who he is and what he
now
does.
he don't do no defending. Now I was with
Well,
you.
see, he ain't gonna defend, but I'm saying, but he a presence.
He is.
His presence is really all that matter to me. I mean,
I love it.
I don't feel like me being I'm gonna be myself, but me looking at a six, what is he, 6'8", 6'10",
He's
however
seven, like
tall he
7'1",
is.
7'1", I think.
I was gonna say I don't know how tall he is, but I would know for a fact that it would scare me to probably try and dunk on that man. So like he even his presence just being there. So that's enough defense in itself.
You know what? I think I can't take nothing away from Jokic because this was his best statistical year of his career, and he's won the MVP multiple times. But I'm just like, damn, I hate it for Shai because Shai had such a great year, led the league in scoring. Usually being the best player on the best team meant something. This might be the first year that the NBA should do co-MVPs. I'm serious.
Ooh, I can see that. I can see that, but I don't know if they would consider it.
I don't know. I don't think they will. I hate that for somebody's gonna not win it, and it kind of sucks. You know what I mean? So
yes, sir.
But whatever. Let me ask you this. We just had the WNBA. Did you just watch the WNBA draft?
I wasn't watching the draft, actually. I was at home studying for my biostatistics assessment.
You did the right thing. You know, that sounds like a hard test. I don't want to think nothing about school. I'm far removed from it.
I've been saying I'm a professional bio major, so I don't get my TV watching time is more of a leisure thing. That's why I say I typically am watching clips, because it's like 9:30. Like right now, well, my teammate, she left me. She probably escaping because I'm making her sit here and watch me do my presentation. I'm trying to present for her, so but she left me here, so it's okay. But I'm here usually just studying and stuff like that. But as they were posting them and everything, I was keeping track of them and everything. So if your question still, I have to say you can still ask.
No, I was just gonna see. You know, I usually I've really been trying to get more into the WNBA, like keeping up with it just as much as the NBA. I thought it was really cool. But I think they got a new expansion team coming to Golden State, right? And
yes, sir.
I never felt like the WNBA has enough spots.
Yes, sir.
I mean? It's a lot of great talent going into the professional realm, but I would love to see every team kind of have that female that women's team representing that city in the same.
Definitely.
The reason I asked you that, because I was gonna get your thoughts on Paige Beckers, man. I think she went #1 to the Dallas Wings, and really like I don't know if I'm gonna go check her out, but I'm thinking about it. But just kind of, since you didn't get a chance to watch it, did you get at least chance to watch the NCAA Final Four? Did you watch?
Of course I did. Oh, definitely. We actually, the air mattress is right here. We watched we blew up the air mattress specifically to come in here and watch that. Like the whole tournament. It was insane. It was insane.
Yeah. I was a little disappointed. I like Coach Don Staley over there in South Carolina. They didn't. Yeah, man.
It's okay though. It's okay though. I was gonna say they live to fight another day.
That was a beatdown. I must say
they live to fight another day. That's what I said. I said they live to fight another day. Hey.
Yes, indeed, man. Well, let me ask you this, and like I said, I'll get ready to let you go here in just a second. So, give us a fun fact. Who is
a fun fact?
Pegues, something that non-basketball related, that everybody's loving your personality, everybody's loving your energy. Tell the fans a little bit about you that they may not get from social media, they may not get from the basketball court. Something fun.
Okay. Okay. I don't know what to start with. First, for me, let's see. I'm a nerd. I will, I'm very, very proud about that. For the majority over half of my academic career, I've maintained a 4.0 GPA in being a professional biology major here at University of North Alabama. I am, let's see. My mom is a pastor.
Oh, I want to come back to that, because I got you were cooking. I mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
Biology major, is there an end goal for that? Are you looking to be a
yes, sir? It is
professional doctor? What are we talking about?
I want to go to medical school to pursue my dreams and becoming an obstetrician gynecologist.
Boom shakalaka. I knew that.
Yes,
I knew it was something.
But I do have plans. But I do still have plans to play overseas. So nonetheless, I'm still gonna work for both.
WNBA. You just gotta get the WNBA. Come on.
Hey,
I know.
Whatever God give me, that's what I say. I'm gonna take it.
Speaking of WNBA, and we're gonna get back to Mama. Speaking of WNBA, I gotta throw this up here real quick.
Angel Jackson and Maya Crump.
Yeah, Angel Jackson and Maya Crump. You just walked me right into it. See how you might be a good coach. You might be a good co-host, man. Might have to do this in the part-time, right? No, I do want to say congratulations to both Angel and Maya. They won some championships for us at Jackson State, Lady Tigers, under Coach Tamika Reed, and they both get to play. They get to be teammates again, man. So we're proud of them. We're keeping up with them. We're rooting for them, and they're gonna do an outstanding job, man. So since you said that, I thought I'd go ahead and throw that up there. But look,
definitely.
I'm gonna let you jump into it. Mom's a pastor. Keep going. Sorry, Mama.
I'm so weak. No, she's fine. My dad's a preacher. For me, I was a soccer player for 12 and a half years. I had many Division One interests. I played competitive for Mid South Football Club when I was younger, all the way up until my eighth grade year. Um, Tore my ACL, came back in 4 months.
Whoa,
Yeah.
4 months off an ACL tear?
Yeah, I did a lot of
Ooh.
research behind that. I since I did a lot of research, so that's a part of biology that makes life a little bit easier when you can kind of doctor yourself a little bit here and there,
I was just about
make
to
it
say, you
process.
were doctoring yourself, weren't you?
I would say a little bit, but I had a heck of a medical team. I had a heck of a medical team and an athletic trainer back in
Wow,
high school.
that's
But
crazy.
and I read for leisure. I was gonna say I'm a big reader. I like to take pictures for sure. I have a camera, but I'm a big leisure reader. I love John Grisham, and
Okay, okay.
that's pretty much it. Oh, and I'm a big God lover. I'm gonna say I love me some God. So anytime y'all see
Oh,
me, I'm always
absolutely.
gonna associate everything with God because that's who is the head of my life and everything that I do. So that's all it is about me. And I don't play without lashes and nails and lip gloss. So y'all don't mind me. But I ain't never too pretty to play. The better I look, the better I feel, the better I play. That's what I always say.
I'm loving this, man. See, I'm a girl dad. I understand all that. I got demons. I
Yes.
ain't got no athletes. I wasn't blessed with a son like that. It's okay. You know what I mean? I love my girls, man. I'm the ultimate girl dad, by the way. But no, that's a lot to unpack, man. Like, that's right, Aqua. Praise him.
Yes, I know that's right.
That's, that's what I'm talking about. So let me ask you this: when you're getting ready, you know how we throw them headsets on. We got the Beats,
Yes, sir.
got the Sony, we got the buds in. Gospel music or something else? What you listen to?
Gospel music is actually my first
Music.
thing. So when I wake up in the morning, I always start off all my mornings with listening to gospel music. I start off with my
Okay.
prayers and everything. But when I get to like pregame and stuff like that, of course, when I'm walking in the gym, it's only gospel. And then it's like, I play about two more gospel songs when I hit the court and I'm doing my warm-ups. And then I kind of switch it over a little bit. And I'm just like, all right, and I got my little bounce music that get me going. Like I was say, you start seeing that, you start hearing me talk about never would have made it
Glorilla.
to. Ooh, so I get
You
over
go
there and
from
start
never
bouncing. And
would have made it to
I'll be over there
oh,
bouncing, and I'll be over there
hold on,
bouncing that
hold
ball a
on.
little hard. I'll be like, all right, I'm ready to let's play. Let's play. So yes, I was gonna say I'm
Nice.
typically if y'all hear me singing during warm-ups, I'm not singing, I'm usually just mouthing the words, but yeah, don't mind me. Y'all gonna hear me singing Devil Would Have Made It 1 minute and then Motivation by T.I. the next. So just,
Hey, I said nerds unite.
Hey,
I consider myself a nerd too, you know?
yes,
Yeah.
this is literally current. Let me see if I can show y'all the thing. Where is my oh here it is. Literally my current setup. Oh, like literally presenting. So
Oh wow.
yeah. So that I was gonna say this is my life. This I love studying. My life is centered around it completely.
Man, that's outstanding. Look,
Yes, sir.
you're gonna do so well. I know Tiger Nation. We have a really great support. I wouldn't say support group, but really a really great following. Loyal supporters that frequents the channel. They frequent the content and we've done a lot through this platform, and they're gonna remember you. They're gonna come up to you, ask for get ready. You say you like take pictures, you might well get ready. Oh, you
Hey,
better get
I'm
ready
here
now.
for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I felt the love. I felt the love. I'm excited. That's why I keep telling them I'm just like when I come the day when I came back to campus after I committed, I wore my hat. I was like, baby, hey, I'm happy. I literally it's undeniable. I wore my hat to class. I had Jackson State, and then it's on of course it's on my keychain. Got my keychain.
Oh yeah, the block is hot, baby. You got Miss Shanetta, works at the university. She said, "Look, if you need anything, let her know." She worked in CSET, that's outstanding. Listen, I do have to ask you this. Now, you say you rock the lashes, you rock the
Yes,
lip
sir.
gloss, you rock the nails. You doing it yourself?
I do my lashes, and I
Okay,
typically do my own hair. Not this though. I usually play with a slick back. That's the only other hairstyle you're gonna never see me play with,
okay,
if I don't have braids in my hair. But
all right.
typically, my slick back is like my go-to with the goggles and the lashes and the lip gloss and the nails. But the nails aren't like this long. They're typically like just like my regular nails. Stay short.
Okay.
So,
So you get
yep. I was gonna say
so you're going to somebody for that, right?
yes, sir.
Now, the reason I ask you that is, if there are any estheticians out there, make sure
Yeah,
you
y'all.
take
I
care
would
of
say
girl, man.
y'all hit me
Make
up.
sure you take care of girl now.
I would say nails, hair, whatever. I was gonna say lashes. It don't even matter at this point. Cause I mean, hey, that's another thing. I was gonna say everything is just like right at my hands. Down here in Florence, we don't have that here. Yeah, you have to. That's why you have to be innovative and do it yourself. It's called don't be lazy. You're gonna be looking crazy.
Yeah, yeah. See, we got you. Look, you know, you get to the jack, it's gonna be all right. You got everything you need. You don't have to worry about that one when you get to the jack.
Yes, I was so excited when
You
my
gonna be
teammates.
straight.
Ruthie told me that. Ruthie told me a girl on campus there, and I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
Miss
girl!" I
Ruth.
said, "That's all I needed to know." Thank you.
Shout out to Ruthie. Heal up, Ruthie. I see Ruthie had a little got that cast
Yes.
on her leg. I need get healthy, Ruthie. Jacktown. What's happening, everybody? But listen, hey, Rhema. Man, this is outstanding. This is a very much so pleasant surprise. Pick my energy up for what I'm, you know, whatever else we're gonna have to talk about today. So I'm gonna clip this out, everybody. Don't worry. I know the live streams go probably 2 hours max
Yes, sir.
sometimes. But we're gonna chop this bad baby up and we'll put it out all over social so you can share it with your family, your friends, let
Definitely.
everybody know. We welcome you. All right. We
Yes,
welcome
sir.
you into the
Thank you.
JSU Tiger family officially. Miss Rhema Pegues officially
Thank you.
signed. She is a
Yes.
Tiger now. You know what I'm saying? So let me ask you this one last question before we get ready to get out of here. Are you graduating before you leave, or is that you're going to finish up in? Where you at as far as graduation, undergrad?
As far as graduation and undergrad, I only have 4 courses left, and so I'm just
Okay.
gonna come there and complete those. I was gonna say
Okay.
I was supposed to graduate December of this past year, but I went ahead and pushed
Okay.
it back because I kind of figured the portal was probably gonna be in an equation.
Okay. Okay. Now
Yes, sir.
we want you to, as long as you get that degree from JSU.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
That's why I was asking. We need. We trying to get you
Experience
on
at
over there.
UNA, graduated at JSU. Yes, that is the goal.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Tiger Nation, everybody that's tuned in, the lovely Miss Rhema Pegues, Goggle Girl is what they call it. What she call herself, you know,
Yes,
diva.
sir.
Everybody loving the glasses, the energy. Thank you so much for stopping in, man. You know, it's
Thank
been
you.
great.
Thank you for having me. I hope you have a great night.
They said get your number 6, get number 6 for your jersey.
I don't know if I can do. I can't do number 6. I can't do number 6. I gotta finish. I gotta finish how I started.
What number is that?
21.
21.
Yes,
You know
sir.
what? I say this: we had a coach that wore number 21 in football back in his playing days. Take 21 days to what they say, to establish a habit.
Yes.
So I'm back on the prowl trying to get my exercise on. I'm on day like whatever day I'm on. I ain't hit 21 consecutive days yet, but I'm gonna get there.
You got it. I believe in you, Mr.
Hey, it
Kid.
was tough today, man. I didn't want to go. I had to pull some motivation from the homies, but I got out there and did my thing. But look, this has been.
Yes, sir.
Hey, they want to know what's your height. What's your height? You know, what's your height?
5'6", Lord Jesus. 5'8". I don't know why I was going to say 5'6".
5'8".
But my confidence 6 foot. So if I appear a little bit shorter, don't mind that.
Just saying that. See there? See what I'm talking about? That's what I'm talking about, man. She walk tall, talk tall, and play tall.
There you go.
5'8". She's a 5'8" giant, throwing flames. And look, we're looking forward to seeing you get in the uniform and do your thing. It's gonna be fun. It really is. I know Coach is gonna finish shaping out this roster. You're gonna have a great set of teammates, and I wish you all the best. All the best with you finishing up this semester over at North Alabama, over in Florence. And again, we appreciate you. Come back to the channel anytime you're ready. Pop in, say hey. You know what I mean? We appreciate the support. Great having you on.
Yes, sir. I will. I appreciate you.
Rhema Pegues, everybody. Appreciate you.
Y'all have a great night.
That was outstanding, man. Hey, that's what I'm talking about, man. Good interview. Would love to have you come on. It's too late for that, bro. She gone now. You got to go hit her up and tell her to come on over there. But nevertheless, man, that's outstanding, man. She's a spitfire young lady. That was awesome, man. Shout out to her. And just want to get through these preliminaries real quick, and then we'll get into a few things. Our foundation, friends of KC-1400 Inc. Givelify. If you'd like to donate, tax deductible, feel free to hit that link and donate. Shout out all of our channel sponsors. Shout out Rex, Canon Toyota of Vicksburg, Canon Nissan of Jackson, Impact Tickets, Auto Masters. And of course, we en route to 8,000 subscribers on the channel. Make sure you tell everybody, tell a friend, tell another friend. If you're over on Facebook watching, head over to YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you're over there on X, head over to YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Let's get to 8,000 subscribers, man. Tell everybody, let them know where the best content in the world is at. You know, one of them at least. We try to bring you great Jackson State content, and we're going to continue to do that 3 nights a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Some nights we take Fridays off, depending on what's happening. But this Friday, we're going to talk about, we're going to come back on this Friday, I think. I got my birthday coming up next week, you know what I'm saying? And it's on a Tuesday, so I'm dropping the Cash App on Monday. Oh, yes, I am. And yes, sir. I'll be 43, so yeah, we're going to do that. But nevertheless, listen, if you haven't signed up for the collective, what are we waiting on? What are we waiting on? The link is in the chat. Click that link. Let's get signed up. We lost the Tiger today. Yeah. We lost the Tiger today, someone that, you know, near and dear to my heart, you know, but nevertheless, we want to send a huge shout out to my little brother, man, Isaiah Spencer. We're going to get into that real quick. Came to us as a true freshman out of my alma mater, my high school, Madison Central High School. Y'all know how we love our Madison Central Jaguars. Lot to say about a lot that I can say. Probably won't say everything, but I definitely want to just say, man, I talked to Spence today, and he, like as he stated, it got nothing to do with the program. Just more of a desire to go to the FBS level and just leave home. He's been home his whole life, and he has the talent and he has the opportunity to elevate and to the next level from FCS to FBS. As you can see by the offers already that he has gotten, Virginia Tech, West Virginia, Cal, probably going to be some others that'll be coming his way. A great talent, man. A really great talent. He played some good football for us, played for us as a freshman, had a really good sophomore season, helped us to win a HBCU national championship, and just had a really good year for us. He said, "Thank you, Jackson. First and foremost, I would like to thank God for blessing me with this ability to play the great game that I love the most. I also want to thank the entire Jackson State coaching staff for providing this opportunity, as well as my teammates for believing in me. Also, I want to thank the fans for supporting us. However, now it is time for me to leave home and see what is next for my career. With that being said, I will be entering the transfer portal with 2 years of eligibility left. Signed, Isaiah Spencer." Isaiah has been a brand ambassador for KC-1400 for the past year and a half, I would say. Yeah, we love Miss Famika. Shout out to Miss Famika Brown, his mom, Brother Rod, his dad. Listen, this is all a part of college athletics. I gotta say this: if you don't have a good team with good talent, you ain't gonna really have no issues with things like this. You know, we do everything that we can to try to minimize it. We have a collective. He was actually one of the ambassadors for the collective, but it comes a point in time where some may choose that I want to do something different. It is what it is. It's you know, it's not really much else you can really say about it. You know what I mean? Because as we stated on Monday, it's case by case. Every situation is so different. Everybody has different dreams, aspirations, desires, wanting to experience whatever the case may be. And as I've stated, listen, anybody could leave. You don't know. portals closes on Saturday, I think, you know, and this is going to be an every year thing. It's going to open up in December for 30 days. It's going to open up in April for 15 days. All you can do is continue to try to we have a great program, man. We have a great coach. We have a great coaching staff. We have a really good team, man, and a very deep wide receiver room. Brother Nate decided to stay. My goodness, it's going to be dynamic for us. There's not a lot of balls, you know. The ball got to be spread around. I can name 7 wide receivers right now that could dominate. It closes on the 25th. I'm tripping. So it closes on Friday. So Saturday it'll be it closes on Friday. So thank you, Travis, for the update on that. And there you have it, you know. But we do have what I hope that Tiger Nation understands with this is that this is not a situation where we didn't do everything that we could to take care of Brother Spence. He just had a desire to do something different. And he's well in his right to do that. And I'm proud of him, man. I'm proud of the player that he's become. We have a great relationship. You know, like I said, we talked today, we texted him today, and you know, short, brief conversation, but it was joked a little bit. And he told me exactly what it was, and nothing to do with the program. He just wanted to, go to the next level and bet on himself to continue to develop into the player that he and we all know that he can become. I hope he chooses the right situation that is going to allow him to get on the field, you know what I mean, and actually continue to show his skill set and develop. You know what I mean? That's what we want to see. That's my thoughts on that. You know what I mean? I won't really go much further than that. There's a lot that can be said, but I think that's the choice that I'll stop it right there. But nothing bad. I mean, I have obviously an obvious bias for Madison Central athletes because I just know how tough it is for Jackson State to get Madison Central talent, because I went to that school and I know what the powers that be had. I know how much Jackson State gets shitted on out of Madison and how much Madison folks don't value Jackson State. So I took a personal investment in wanting to make sure he stayed in the Jack State Tiger uniform as much as we could, as long as he could. Not that the coaches have done a phenomenal job of all of that. I'm just talking about from our side of it, like what we could do if there was some things that we could have done to help that. This could have happened last year. You know what I mean? Shout out to Florida, Mississippi. That's right. I'm aware that he would not remain. That's right. That's right, Emerald. It was tough to even keep him last year. We kept him, and look at what happened. We won a championship. I know he was excited about that. He played more, got more stats. You said you haven't heard that about Madison Central. Hell, I lived it. I seen it. I know how it goes. And don't nobody come try to debate. Listen, you wasting your breath trying to tell me that. You wasting your breath trying to I'm not going to do the back and forth stuff about what I know happens up there, man. I went to that school. I've been around. I know several players, and I know that at that point in time, Jackson State wasn't an option. It wasn't. That's a Madison Central is an Ole Miss hotbed. Okay, we know that. And the reality of the matter is that when the trajectory of our football program changed when Deion Sanders became our coach, and now it was like, oh, okay, it started to be. Listen, I don't give a damn if it's. Listen, when I say Madison Central, that covers Ridgeland and Germantown, because Ridgeland came out of Madison Central in 2002, and so did Germantown come out of there. So again, that's just how it goes. You know what I mean? And to have someone that comes in, and I know his mom and grandmother was ecstatic that he's a Jackson State Tiger, wanted him to remain a Jackson State Tiger. And I haven't had a chance to talk to them, but I know they're gonna support their child and grandbaby is, you know, to the utmost, to the best of their ability. They're gonna do that. They're gonna love him, and it's gonna be great. But I'm just speaking to something that was my driving force to assisting in whatever way that we could through the collective, which existed long before this year. We just started really elevating the way we presented it. Okay. I grew up in Jackson my whole life, and I transferred to Madison Central my 11th grade year because my dad lived in Madison since 1989 when my mom and dad split. So I went against the grain and I left the city and I went to Madison Central. And listen, you get a Madison Central player if they went to a FBS school and had got into some trouble or something, and they needed a D1 bounce back, we get them. But to get a 3-star kid that was committed to USM, that had a Georgia Tech offer, that had all kinds of stuff like that, opportunities, I mean, to get him out of high school, Coach TC, Coach O and staff did a phenomenal job of recruiting. That's what they do. There are no better recruiters. I'm telling you guys something right now. We have the best recruiters in the state of Mississippi. I might say, here he go. You guys, here you go. He doing his thing. No, you really show how great of a recruiter you are when you are limited. It don't take hell. I could go to Mississippi State and Ole Miss and be a damn good recruiter, because if you get everything and you the flagship universities of the state, you're going to be able to recruit. How hard is it? How hard is that? Who got the most money? Who can offer these kids the most? It doesn't take a whole, I'm just saying, Coach Huff down there is doing a good job of recruiting. He's just got the USM. But I'm telling you, we got the best recruiters in the state. We do. Because we do more with less. And the reality of the matter is to get a young brother like this after Deion left. Because he got a phone call from our previous wide receiver coach when he first came to Jackson State. And I could tell you exactly what he said. Brett Bartolone. Called him on the phone after he committed to Jackson State and was like, "You're going to regret this." Told him he was going to regret it. Tried to start messing with his head. I know that. Hey, I'm telling you, man. I'm just saying. Because people use that, you ain't going to go pro stuff out of Jackson State. You ain't going to go pro for nobody if you ain't on the field playing and producing. Let's just get that out of the way. Let's just get that out of the way now. If you're not on the field playing at a high level and producing, you will not go to the next level, period. That's just how that works. I'm just telling you how that goes. I'm just telling you how that works. And so the reality of the matter is for him, and this is my advice to him, and he knows that, go where you're going to get on the field. Go where it's a good situation. When you look at that situation, you better look at that offensive coordinator, look at the type of offense they running, look at that quarterback, look at that wide receiver room. Make sure you're going to get on the field. Because, I mean, listen, getting on an FBS roster, getting the opportunity to go to an FBS school isn't the flex anymore. Listen, y'all, we are the #1 HBCU football team in America, loaded with 3-star, 4-star, big-time FBS talent. We are. We are. And we may get a lot of them on the front end because we recruit big-time talent out of high school. I can name you. Just go through the roster. You do it for yourself. You do that for yourself, right? But here's what I am saying with that. So we have a lot of talent in the room that can get opportunities. Matter of fact, when you get a FBS transfer, hell, they was already at the FBS level. So to get them to come to Jackson State, that tells you they're FBS caliber players. So getting an FBS opportunity is one thing. That's just the first part of the equation. But you have to You have to get on the field and you have to be able to produce. I'll add one more thing. You know why it's so easy, for that to happen and why that's not as impressive to me as you may think? I'm in the NIL space. I know what that looks like. These schools have, I call it waste funds, W-A-S-T, waste funds. They have expendable income, expendable revenue and resources that they can throw 50,000 at a reserve player. Not saying that Isaiah's going to be a reserve player. I'm just talking. I'm talking about the business. They got the money to blow. They can outbid us. Yes, they can. They can outbid us. They can throw a check away for a year just to see, because it's about depth for them, right? So again, is it about getting a bag? Not talking about it. I don't know. I don't know anything contractually. I don't know anything about that. So I'm not revealing anything. I'm talking about the business that I know of. I've seen some agreements. I've seen some contracts. Trust me when I tell y'all, man. And I'm just telling you, every player that goes to the FBS level ain't getting no bag like that. And this ain't about Isaiah. I'm talking about the conversation. So the whole conversation around this. But if you look at his office, he got ACC office. That's P4. He got P4 office. And I'm happy for him. I'm happy. I just want to make sure I want him to get on the field and play. I want to be able to watch him catching touchdowns for whoever you go to. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna stop being no fan. Yes, he is still with us. He's a freshman in high school. He ain't even got to the campus yet. But anyway, so that's the ordeal with that. And this is the business of college athletics. And when you have these conversations, no, we're not emotional. Yes, I'm emotional to see him go because I have real true love for this young man, and I'll just leave it at that. And I have a great relationship with his mother and his family. And that's just, I'm gonna just leave that at that. Okay. He said, unfortunately, the FBS opportunity comes with what do you mean come with guaranteed NIL money? All NIL deals are guaranteed, but it most depends on how it writes because of revenue sharing. I understand that hasn't taken effect yet, but it's supposed to. So so again, I'm glad you said that. Thank you for making my point for me. If it's about the money, then cool, you won. Go get as much as you can. Just know this, when you get your degree, that money's done. But if it's about exceeding that and getting to the next level, it just comes down to what the kid wants. And I'm not against getting your bag. I'm not against that. Nobody is against go and get your bag. If you can get a bag, get a bag. We do it every day. I'm gonna go get a bag if I can get me one. But what I'm saying to everybody is that in this particular climate, okay, this is a selling point that people have. You can also get a bag and sit on the sideline. Okay, if that's what you're trying to do, great. More power to you. We wish you nothing but the best. You're gonna have a clean uniform and you're gonna have a few dollars in your pocket, and hopefully you get your degree, because when that's all over with, that money stops instantaneously when you leave the program. You're gonna have to enter into the real world and be a regular citizen just like everybody else. We hope you get enough money that you can set yourself up and get to, you know what I mean? We hope so. We really do. But let's just be real about this. The players that's getting real big, extremely large bags in college, they not gonna come to Jackson State, man. We gotta be realistic with this. Carson, I know they were talking about the kid, Carson Beck, that just went to Miami, getting $4.3 million as a quarterback. That kid ain't going to no FCS school. So we talk, it's levels to it. I know everybody want to think that they're on that level. They're not. You're not on that level. Everybody's not on that level. And I know your mom, you know, when you get around your support system, you get around your family, everybody think they baby is a 5-star. Everybody think they baby is a F. Oh, my baby did da. Everybody think that. It's not the case. It's not the case. Because no matter the levels that everybody is on, you get the talent that is usually suitable for your level. Now, if you're a great recruiter, you can exceed the level of everybody's recruiting. Nobody is effing with Jackson State in recruiting. That's over with. So SWAC, we're not even recruiting to beat the SWAC. We're not. That's not. We're not. That's not being cocky. And I haven't even addressed like the roster like that. I haven't. Trust me. And listen. Boy. You gotta be careful how you say stuff because people don't, you know what I'm saying? Brother, you that's fine. Nobody. Isaiah Spencer was getting paid through the collective. What are you talking about? I'm with you. I'm with you on that. You think I don't know? We have a whole collective that I'm over. I write the contracts, I cut the checks. I know they want the money. So you're not telling me that, and I'm not being, I'm not jumping down your throat. Yes, they want the money. But in the great overall conversation, if that's all you want, then that's the path to go. Go get a bag. But if you want to play, pick a situation that's going to allow you to get on the field. That's all I'm saying. See, y'all like to have this conversation and talk. We not an HBCU that ain't playing in the game. It's a lot of HBCUs that ain't got no collector, that ain't got no way to pay no players. I have 30 athletes that we pay at Jack State. So you ain't got to talk to me about the money. Trust me when I tell you. We know that, and we could pay more if we had more people sign up. We only paying what we paying because we ain't got all the support that we got. We ain't even hit 500 supporters, but we thankful for what we have, and we're able to do what we do. So again, you tell me why we aren't. Jackson State is absolutely could pay if the support was there. We got too many people on the sideline just looking. Because you think you supporting somebody that I don't like the way you talk. This ain't about the adults. This is about the kids. You either in the game or you're not in the game. You either want to play it or you don't. But I know everybody going to be bitching and complaining if the talent ain't producing like you wanted to produce because y'all like to win social media battles. Y'all like to go talk smack and stick your chest out and have all this. We going to kick y'all. But you see what I'm saying? Oh, my goodness. Imagine if we did have 5,000 supporters. Well, we changed the game. And now when somebody come with these little mid-major schools or these lower tier FBS schools start offering, I'm offering 40,000, 50,000, we may have something to fight with now. If you really want to keep that player, if the coaches really want to do what they do. But this is what I'm saying. And I ain't even told you. We not even going, you'll see who's coming. You'll see who comes to Jackson State. Because, what Isaiah just really did for the coaches is gave them an opportunity to go and recruit another player. Remember, Coach Taylor said that line to get into Jackson State is long. The line that go out is kind of small. It's small. It's way smaller compared to what's trying to get in. That line to get in is 3 to 4 times longer than the list that's trying to get out. And we done pretty much got to the back end of who's exiting. At this point, we just kind of sitting back waiting to see what's going to happen these next 2 days. If somebody decides to leave, they decide to leave. But the coaches got plenty. Trust me when I tell you, we are in great shape. And I'm going to say this. Can I say this without getting in trouble? We're going to break the internet on something. We're going to break the internet in a couple. I'm telling y'all, in just a short period of time on some commitments. I'm confident in that. And I'm going to just leave it at that. Don't inbox me. Don't ask me nothing. I ain't telling nothing. I don't know nothing, but I'm just telling you, I do know that. Just know we're gonna shake some things up when we see these commitments come in. They're trying to tell you. They're trying to tell you. So we ain't right here sitting right here crying. I love Isaac. This is my guy right here. He gonna always be my guy. He know that. And this ain't me personal. This is just for him. Because of the love I have for him, I just want to see him go be successful and be great. So I know he got a great support system, got great parents. They're going to make sure, he got great trainers. Shout out to Mike Espy Jr. all of those guys, man. But I just want to see them get on the field, whether that be Virginia Tech, whether that be West Virginia, whether it be Cal. Those are the 3 offers that he posted. Probably going to be Blacksburg, Virginia, Virginia Tech. I'm not saying what he's going to do or nothing. I'm just saying, like, when you look at that, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But I'm gonna be watching my guy. I'm gonna be rooting for him. I'm gonna stay in contact with him. If he screw up, I'm gonna text him. Come on, man. Come on, man. But this is you know, outside of that, man, we we gonna you know, the internet. We gonna make sure we continue to show love and support, man. I know we will on our side of it, because let me say this too. I want people to understand something. When we talk about this collective is not about just passing money to players. It's also about building true relationships and partnerships. We just got a really big partnership that we just signed on to, that I actually can't actually announce it until a month. We'll give it a month. We got some things that we're trying to finalize, and we're really proud of what we have been able to do. Had another conversation today about some marketing opportunities for our athletes. And it's going to really take them to another level to help them market to get other NIL deals. It's not just about giving money like that. It's about having a whole, like, we're a foundation that's dedicated to doing this, you know, and if you feel like you want to be active in it and support, you can be a financial donor. Just go to the website. The link's in the chat. Sign up. All of that matters. If you can. If you can't, don't worry about it. If you don't plan on participating, keep your opinion to yourself. We're not interested in hearing it. And when we say stuff like that, we're not trying to be disrespectful in no matter. People like to give opinions but don't want to financially support. Like, we don't care about your opinion, man. If you ain't trying to get in with what we're trying to do, take it somewhere else. I'm not interested in hearing it, because we really about action. I don't be listening to all that stuff. I really don't. But nevertheless, man, sad day to see Isaiah go, because we do love him, and we definitely appreciated his time as a Tiger. But optimistic for him, because he got some solid stuff out there. You know what I mean? That he can go and do, and I really hope he do well, man. I really do. Rooting for him, and we're gonna see how it plays out. But I'm definitely rooting for him. We showed the statistics on last show. A lot of FCS guys that go up to the FBS level play a significant amount, significant more or less snaps than they played at their respective FCS program. And we hope that that's different for him. Hopefully he go out there and beat out all their wide receivers, become wide receiver 1, get on the field, start, put up some numbers in the ACC if that's where you're going. And listen, invite me to the draft party, bro. That's what we hope. You know what I mean? So get your damn tickets. I like that. But no, man, we wish Isaiah the best. Hate to see him go, but his next man up. And also, we'll see who the coaches decide to bring in. Wink, wink. But nevertheless, let's get into this some draft conversations. Shout out to SI Sports Illustrated. They just talked about the top 10 HBCU prospects in the 2025 NFL draft. The draft starts tomorrow. The draft starts tomorrow. 3 of the top 10 HBCU prospects come from Jackson State. Phillip Webb, edge. Phillip is picking up a little steam, man. Shout out to Phillip Webb. Herb Mulligan, you know, the best, the SWAC Offensive Player of the Year. This is a deep running back class, though. So hopefully we would love for Herb to get his name called. If he doesn't get his name called, either one of them, I think all of them are going to sign free agent deals if they don't get drafted instantaneously. I know that a lot, but Webb has the size, he has the measurables, he has that, and then too, we saw a report recently that talked about, because of the transfer portal, because of this NIL money, there's a lot of players that opted to stay in college longer that didn't enter the draft. So they're saying it's not as deep in the latter rounds, which is going to give these guys opportunities to get their name called. I absolutely, positively expect Robert McDaniel to get drafted on this weekend, on Saturday. I absolutely do. If he gets drafted on Friday, y'all, you know that gun well, we're going to cut up and celebrate. But I definitely expect Robert McDaniel. From all the stuff that we're seeing, man, all the energy and effort and time and money that the Washington Commanders have put into, we hope. I'm gonna try to go live on Saturday, hopefully, to try to capture that. We will be in contact with his agent, with him, and hopefully we'll get something in advance to where we may know it beforehand. And that way we get a chance to do that. Yeah, we get a chance to go live and try to be streaming when that actually happens. But even if we don't catch that, we'll be in contact with all of them, try to get them on the show and talk about, where they're headed and give us some updates, man. So we're gonna continue to follow them. We got 2 former Tigers. We got two Jack State Tigers already in the league right now with James Houston and Isaiah Bolden. And but we looking to add some more. We know for a fact that 2 of them gonna be drafted in the first round tomorrow. I got Travis Hunter going second to the Cleveland Browns. Travis Hunter gonna be drafted in the Cleveland. Now, Travis Hunter, look that video. They hating on my boy Shador too. Shador just did his NFL video. He said Shador Sanders, Jackson State, Colorado. I know they be pissing people off, but these boys are Jack State Tigers, man, and we gonna celebrate them. We damn right. And I expect Shiloh. Hopefully Shiloh gets drafted. Hopefully Cameron Silman-Craig gets drafted. That would be a great day for Jackson State. We'll see how it goes. At barbecue chicken with Browns. I don't know what my Raiders are gonna do with the 6th pick. I don't know if they're gonna make my dream come true and draft Shador. I hope Tom Brady. I hope they was throwing smoke. I don't know, man. I really don't. But nevertheless, they're gonna see their names called in the first round. I really don't like the rhetoric that I'm hearing around with Shador. These teams not liking his bravado and his confidence. It's just not. It really ain't cool, man. If you ask me, it's not. But nevertheless, we know how that goes, man. We'll see what happens with them, and we'll kind of go from there. Brother C. Lee, if you're out there, I'm gonna go ahead and drop that link. If you can come on up, man. I want you to join me. We're gonna transition in a second outside of sports and use the back hour to touch on this mayoral race in the city of Jackson. Got to talk about that as well. But yeah, man. TD wasn't able to hop on tonight. It's only going to be, like I said, be on a couple of hours and we'll be out of front. We'll be out of you. That report was horrible that came out. Yeah, it was, man. It wasn't cool, man. We're being honest. I think that a lot of the hate that Shador is getting, it stems from just his confidence, man. A lot of these teams don't like that. They don't like bravado. When it's certain players, and I have to be honest, like this is a trend. We don't see, people have to understand something, and I'm not gonna be careful when I say this, because this is the way that the world is. Usually when you see white players that have this bravado, that have this level of confidence, it's never frowned upon, and you do with that what you want to do with it. That's just kind of how it goes. It's passing. I remember when Baker Mayfield was being covered, some could call Baker Mayfield a prick, but it was always looked upon as this confidence, this bravado. Oh yeah, man, you want that in your quarterback. I saw that. I saw that they didn't pass the 105 just yet, because they're saying they don't want to mess up a lot of players and take away their opportunity. I don't know what they're gonna do, EA, with that number. I don't know. Yeah, they do call it moxie. But you see a young African American quarterback coming in with all that confidence, it just makes some people uncomfortable, and you gotta ask them why that's that way. You know who his daddy is. I don't get the understanding of why some of these, these GMs and these, these anonymous coaches that always seem to have a problem when you got a young African-American player who got swag, got confidence, and then you want to start throwing words around like unprofessional, all this old other type stuff. It's the same old play out of the same old book. That's always been that way. And if you don't like us talking about race, then stop being racist. Talking about what African-American players and athletes and African-American people in general have to experience at the hands of bigotry and racism it ain't worse than actual racism and bigotry. I get sick of hearing that. People always like, why you want to play the race card? We don't want to talk about race and play the race card ever. We wish it wasn't a thing. Somebody say, you don't know what you're talking about. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I can give you a personal experience, something I've been experiencing every day. Listen, man, I don't really care. I work for me. So I just, you take it how you want to take it. I experienced this. Look, I know what I look like. I know the body that I live in, because I ain't this body. You ain't either. We're spirit beings, and this flesh is just merely a coat. And, you don't get to choose what coat you wear. Good Lord does. But you have some people who, shows forth their character based off the outer coat of skin that they get to walk around in. And it's very telling, right? And I've had some experiences just walking in my own neighborhood. I live out here, and y'all know where I live at. And I always find it funny, you walking, it's cold outside. I had to throw my little hoodie on. I got my buds. I walk with my little golf club because, I don't want no dog and no little animal to run up on me. I had to beat him upside the head. That actually happened today, by the way. Lady's dog come running outside, and I kind of brought that club up. And she's like, oh, looking crazy. I said, listen, you better get your dog before I hit him upside the head. I don't want to hit the dog upside the head, but if you run up on me, I'm going to try to knock his eyeball to the other side of his brain. And I just kept walking. I'm just telling you. But no, you walk in the neighborhood. I don't live in I live in a neighborhood that ain't, a handful of folk that look like me, whatever, And I just always chuckle at how people that see you in the neighborhood, they see you coming. And then people be using all their energy to not make eye contact because they really don't want to speak. They really don't want to speak. So they keep looking straight. So they watching their car, they doing something, they do that real hard. Just don't turn the head. Count the 30 seconds or something. By that time, you be gone. Man, I'll be like, man, I don't nobody care about speaking to you, lady or dude. It ain't that serious. It's not that serious, man. I'm telling you, that's a real thing. Every day, you see that all the time. And it just, people don't understand the experiences you have to go through when you live in this mocha colored coat. But nevertheless, man, I don't like the rhetoric that's around Shador. Travis, I'm excited because they did allow oh yeah. They watching, man. I don't care, man. I just, man, listen, I don't fear no man. Like that, like I'm not finna be bothered and be all uncomfortable because of your insecurity. Bigotry is insecurity at its finest. That's what it is. Racism and bigotry is the epitome of insecurity. Because if you really believe that I was everything that you say I was, you wouldn't really put no energy into that. You really wouldn't. You really wouldn't. You really wouldn't. Let's be real now. Nobody puts energy into anything that they think is insignificant. You just don't do it. So, that's your damn problem, by the way. Whatever's whatever. I stay in my own lane. I avoid all that stuff best you can, but sometimes you just can't help it because you got ignorant folks out here that just don't know how to, especially in this political climate. And we're going to touch on a little bit of politics when Brother C. Lee comes up. And Brother Trent, you're more than welcome to jump on as well. Just kind of want, and any other folks that's in the city of Jackson that want to talk about the mayoral Democratic selection. We will get a new mayor in the city of Jackson. I want to thank my brother Shokwe and Tar Lumumba, my brother, childhood friend, and for the 8 years that he served and did the best job that he could do. I don't have I'm not, people have their opinions and their thoughts, but I believe in my heart of hearts that he did the absolute best that he absolutely, positively, possibly could have done. Could some things have been better? Sure, he'll tell you that. But you live and you learn, and you do the best you can. And I think Jackson is not in the shape that he's in solely because of the mayor or whoever sits in the mayor's seat. It's a lot of different variables that make Jackson what it is and where it is and how it is. And we tend to most people like to pinpoint certain things onto certain individuals. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know about all the other stuff. You know, I know there's the investigation with the bribes and stuff. He'll get his day in court. It's like everybody else does. You know what I mean? Everyone else that has something to do with it, Mike B, appreciate that. He'll get his day in court, and we'll see how that goes. But let's just say if things don't go how you want to go, we'll be back complaining again. Complaining, explaining, and not doing a darn thing. If you didn't go vote, especially if you live in Jackson, you didn't vote. What we talking about? But anyway, I'm waiting on Brother Seeley to come up. But yeah, man, speaking of this draft, we'll get into that. We'll get into that conversation in just a second. Governor and the good old boys. You got that right, Jason. If you don't want to, they don't like to say that, but that's really the way that goes, man. Jackson didn't get this way overnight. It's never the mayor's fault, just the man to take on the challenge. That's exactly right, real. You better believe it. You better believe it, man. With that said, we welcome my good brother C. Lee to the platform. How you doing, brother?
Oh, my mic was on the floor. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, brother. How you doing, man? How you doing this night?
You know, like you said, it's a great day to be a Tiger, man. It's a great day, man. You know, no matter what happened, no matter what go down, it's always a great day to be a Tiger. You know, I just want to say, as you say, shout out to young brother Spence. We appreciate the 2 years. Yeah, appreciate your family being there. And you know what we do? We love our family. We don't just cause family may not always walk the same path don't mean you stop loving them. So I want to say, brother Ken, I appreciate you. And I've told you this before, but I appreciate not just the work that you do for the foundation and NIL and all that. I really appreciate the way that you and brother TD model how we should engage young people. I think that a lot of times people forget that these are young people. And if we don't remember that these are young people, we won't treat them properly. So I just always want to say thank you for modeling, because a lot of times they become, especially in football, they become a helmet with no face. Yeah. You know, football players are probably the most difficult to identify because you don't really see them doing the thing that you love them doing, you don't see them. And so I'm always appreciative of the way that this platform humanizes the players behind the helmet. And you always remind us of that. So I just wanted to say that before we get into
no, I appreciate
what we're gonna get into. What's up, brother Trent? My classmate.
Bro C. Lee, how you doing today?
I'm good. Trent, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, Ken. How about yourself?
Man, I can't complain. It's good to be seen. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
Hopping on, man. This is a perfect time to have both of you on. Because
hey Ken, you like my hat?
Vernon Perry. Shout out to VP, man. What's up, Vernon?
Hey,
guy right there,
to get 4 interceptions in a playoff game, and I was watching that game.
And he gonna remind you whenever he around you too.
That's right. Look, I ran into him at lunch, and he gave me this hat.
Wow, he ain't gave me nothing, man. But you know what? It's all right. It's all right. He gotta give me a jersey or something, man.
Man, you should have been at lunch with me that day.
No, it's all good, man. No,
yeah.
Vernon funny, man. He always giving TD a hard time because Robert Brazile always jumping down his throat And you're like, man, won't you just leave the man alone, man? You just want to be punished, don't you? No, I love Bernie, man. They're just some cool cats, man. But
hey, look, I always enjoy being around those old school guys.
Yeah.
They still have a lot of love for the university. There's a lot of people don't know there's actually an NFL alumni chapter in Jackson that meets regularly. And a lot of those old heads, and I'm bald and gray. So before my generation,
I'm on the way.
They come, hey, you just a couple of years behind me, but you're on that same track.
A little something,
yeah,
man.
they do.
I thought about dying that thing, leaving the tip, a little salt and pepper, kind of get a little. But I ain't got time for all that.
Don't they do the Thanksgiving dinner, right?
Yeah, they do the Thanksgiving dinner.
Christmas toy drive.
Perry actually
Christmas toy drive. There we go. The Thanksgiving dinner and the Christmas toy drive. There we go. Yeah,
he collects bicycles to give kids bicycles for Christmas. I know he's been doing that for several years.
Yep.
So those guys are out there and they're active. So I just have to give a shout out to not just Vernon Perry, but to all of them. They meet regularly. They try to keep in the know. They asked me to speak when this whole Goon Squad thing came out. I came in, I addressed them. Some old heads, Eddie Payton and Chris Burkett and Frank Sutton.
Yep.
A lot of those guys were there. And it was really just an honor because I told them when I was a little boy, my dad had me out in the woods cutting firewood or what have you. We listening to the game while we cutting wood. So, hey, I'm just happy to be there.
Hey, I'll say this. Toronte and KT Dub both got an opportunity to go to the Christmas event. Toronte got to sit down and do some interviews with the guys, and TD did. And then I know KT Dub just recently met with the players over at Iron Horse Grill to talk about the collective and some things that we're doing, how they can support the efforts that we have with our collective efforts. We want to make sure they get involved and know what we're doing, how they can get involved, how they can help us, and all that good stuff, man. So we've shout out to Rodney Phillips as well, Jeffrey Moore, and you, like you stated, Eddie Payton, Vernon Perry, Frank Sutton, all those guys, man. And we appreciate them. Chris Burkett, my mom, obviously, Brother Seeley, highlight. We know Chris from that. I wish I had a chance to. I wish I could have made it because I would have loved to see Chris. I hadn't seen him in a while, but it was good stuff, man. So, but yeah, man. Appreciate all the work that they do. Appreciate it. I wanted to get you guys on, man. Look like we're gonna have a change in leadership in the city of Jackson. It's 2000 since Shokwe Lumumba passed away. His father, senior, well, not a senior, but Shokwe Lumumba, and his son filled in that role, Shokwe Antoine Lumumba, and he's been in office for the past 8 years, I want to say.
Yeah,
and,
right.
Yeah, 2 terms, and now the city has spoken. City of Jackson has decided that the Democratic candidate, Brother John Horn, is going to take on. I'm not sure who he's taking on from the Republican side, but usually if things tend to go in the same direction like they go, historically the city votes Democrat in the mayoral race.
Hey, I know I'm wrong. He playing Lane College. That's who he got. He got Lane. I'm wrong. Look, don't nobody stall me. I'm wrong. Let him go ahead, kid. Keep going.
Yeah, it was so did Yarber.
Yeah, it was Tony. I was gonna mention that. So yeah,
I'm sorry. I thought he took over after his dad.
No, Yarber was out there.
Appreciate the correction, Tyler. Appreciate the correction.
Because that's actually
that is right. Yeah, I forgot about it. I didn't forget about Yarber. I thought in my mind said he took over when his daddy did. He ran. Yeah. I think he ran when his daddy.
Right. Yeah, he ran, and then Tony defeated him. And then after Tony was mayor, Antar defeated Tony. And that's the point I was gonna make. And then as I get but so I'm glad Brother Tyler put that in the chat.
Appreciate it, Tyler. Yeah, man. I left in 2013, but I completely forgot. I never mind the correction. But yeah, let's I'll let you get into it at first. I've seen a lot of just chatter around this. I really
So
I'm just watching, man. I'm just watching because you just, it's so much that's at stake. There's so many things that needs to happen in the city of Jackson. I know you see the citizens, express themselves in various different ways. There's a lot of seeming of animosity towards Chokwe, and some that are just kind of fed up and have attached his face and his administration with some of the problems that exist, especially with this case that's coming, that he's actually going through right now. Not sure if all the facts and data and details are, everybody fully understands that, but I'm not going to insult anyone's intelligence and act like they don't know what they're talking about. But now you got Brother Horn coming in, and I think he's made some attempts in the times past, but there are some things on the table right now, things like the zoo, the airport, the water system in Jackson, like a lot of things that be talked about. And I'll shut up and let you guys who are living in that area speak more about your thoughts on the change of leadership at the mayor seat in Jackson.
So I'm going to just have some questions, and I think that it would be good for Trent to come after the questions because he was probably a little bit more aligned with kind of what Senator Horn was putting out and things of that nature. The first thing I do want to say, though, is that, and y'all know I'm not on social media, so my wife clipped it and sent it to me. I want to get into that too, Brother Brown. Now, in fact, I'll start there. I can't hear all this uproar from people about what's wrong with the city and only 23,000 people vote.
Yeah,
that part.
I said on Tuesday, I bet you we don't get to 30,000.
You did?
Yeah, I said on Tuesday, I said, bet you we don't get to 30,000. So I just want to put that out there that all this chatter, right, about where Jackson is, where it needs to be, and you got only 23,000 people who voted. If you really want to know what the problem is, that's the problem. Because if you're not voting, then you can't hold anybody accountable. Now, I'm glad, Brother Brown. So 3 or 4 things, and then I'm gonna step aside. My wife sent me this piece by Rita Brent, comedian Rita Brent. I'm not on social media. I would say if you're on social media, if you can get to Facebook, go to Rita Brent's Facebook and just clip what she said, because I think that holistically what Rita Brent said summarizes where I think everybody in Jackson should be. And if everybody in Jackson was there, then it looks like we have a lot of opportunity to create a better circumstance. So I just want to say, if you haven't read the Rita Brent post on Facebook, go check that out. The thing about an election, once an election has occurred, that's it. It's whatever sour grapes you have, whatever side you may be on, that the election has happened. Ken, the 23,000 people have spoken.
Yeah.
Right? 23,000 people. Okay, Unstoppable 25, that's true. And so what I'll say to you, I'm glad you put that up there, because Unstoppable 25 was going hard in the chat for Horn on Monday. He's been going hard in the chat. So I'm just going to say this. Regardless of what you think, there's still some things facing Jackson. Is Jackson going to continue to have a zoo? Is Jackson going to continue to have an airport? What will the new leadership do about Senate Bill 2343 that's lessening the power of Jackson and Hines County judges? The land grab, the Senate Bill 2343 that's increasing the state government's control over downtown Jackson. House Bill 1020 that is lessening the power of Jackson and Hines County judges. House Bill 370 that allows people outside the city of Jackson to recall the people that the people of Jackson elected, the officials there. and also Senate Bill 2889 that is allowing a third-party person to control Jackson's water system. So Unstoppable 25, you got your mayor, you got the person in you want. So I need you, Unstoppable 25, to keep that same energy. Keep that same energy about the zoo. Keep that same energy about the airport. Keep that same energy about the Senate bill that wants to expand the power of the neo-Confederates on downtown Jackson. Keep that same energy about the attempt to lessen the power that Jackson and Harris County judges have, and the ability for people outside of Jackson to recall people elected by Jackson, and finally, the third-party entity that's over Jackson's water, that's working to take Jackson's water out of control of Jackson. I need Unstoppable 25 and everybody to keep that same energy, because those are the issues that you are facing. I'll shut up.
Okay. Let me step in. I want to say a lot of the stuff that you're talking about, C. Lee, are legislative issues. You know, the one thing that jumps out to me that is blatantly unconstitutional, and I don't even see the Fifth Circuit upholding it, is allowing people who are not citizens of Jackson to participate in a recall of Jackson's leadership, because certainly that is something that would not be allowed in anybody else's small town.
Nope.
And so I see that as an attorney as being blatantly unconstitutional. And even if that were to pass, and I don't think it will, but even if it were to pass, that in and of itself would be the subject of litigation. With regard to the airport, that's been in litigation for the last 10 years. I do not believe that John Horn is going to come in and tell the lawyers who've been working on this case for the last 10 years on behalf of the city of Jackson to say that, okay, well, we are going to just drop our defense of the airport or our defense of our water system or anything else, and just allow the state to take that over. Because, I think I said this on, it's probably about a year ago at this point, the state of Mississippi was not interested in Jackson's water system, and in point of fact, had no problem allowing the citizens to suffer without water for the better part of a whole summer. And then when the federal government came in with, $700 or $800 million or however much money it was, now for the first time, once there's some money that is coming from the federal government, suddenly the state became interested in having a board to oversee the water system. It was never about the water. It was always about how to get that money and distribute it to the friends of the politically powerful in this state. So that is the only interest that they have in the water system. I do not like that the federal receiver who was appointed to oversee it has said that he doesn't have a problem with the state doing that. I find that to be highly upsetting. But back to the primary point, and I'm going to say this about the zoo. The zoo is underfunded and underattended, particularly because it is in West Jackson. There was a proposal at one point in time to move the zoo out to LaFleur's Bluff, where the children's Riverside Park and the Children's Museum. There's a golf course that a lot of people have forgotten about.
Yep, LaFleur's 9-hole course. Yep,
right. There was a proposal at one point to to basically renovate that golf course and put the zoo out there on part of those grounds, since the golf course is not used anymore. You can agree with me or disagree with me. I actually like that idea. For one, your target audience, which would be the people at the zoo, the people who take their children to the zoo, because the zoo is not something adults go, you take children there. You're already out by the Children's Museum. You're out by Riverside Park. But to me, the most important thing is you are actually still in the city of Jackson. And one of the reasons that the zoo, and I've done a fundraiser for the zoo probably 20 years ago. The zoo's been suffering a long time. But it would be better at LaFleur's Bluff than for us to 4 or 5 years from now be saying, okay, well, everybody's going to the Madison County Zoo, which you have to look at other people looking at that as an alternative. So,
well, I just want to clarify. I didn't say anything about not moving the zoo.
Right.
My issue was keeping it in Jackson.
No, it needs to stay in Jackson.
Right. So I just want to be clear, because I don't want anybody hearing you saying, well, see, Lee was saying he didn't want the zoo. No. I just wanted to keep the zoo in Jackson.
Well, in the past, there have been some people, including people on the city council, who have strongly opposed, and I believe Mayor Lumumba was strongly opposed to moving the zoo, but you're not getting the kind of traffic at the zoo where it is currently placed, just because that part of Capitol Street has become blighted, and it is discouraging for a lot of the people that you want to come in and bring their children to the zoo.
But also, Lumumba was also pressed because there were 2 black city councilmen who said that they were okay with the zoo leaving the city. So you have to also factor that in, that Lumumba was also fighting again. Again, that's all. I just, so, when you talk about him not fighting, that's true. But there were 2 city councilmen, 2 who came out and said, that's not something we should be fighting over. And the zoo, if we lost the zoo, it wouldn't be an issue.
And, well, we say that about things until we lose them. And then
right. But I'm only raising that point because I want to be clear that when Lumumba's fighting these issues, he's not just fighting a move or don't move. He's also fighting, I have 2 people. Well, you got the third person. That third person who's going to always vote against anything Jackson, right? And then when you get 2 black city councilmen who are also saying the zoo should leave, then you have a mayor in a very precarious situation. And again, the election is over. So, but I'm with you. I just want to be clear. I'm with you. Didn't have a problem with it moving, as long as it stayed in Jackson. Right. But just wanted to kind of add some nuance to the kind of navigation that the mayor was having to do at that time. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so, with regard to the airport, that's been in litigation the last 10 years. It is more likely to be decided by a court than it will be decided by anything that the incoming mayor does. There is no motivation whatsoever from where I sit. The state has certainly never offered Jackson anything that I've been made aware of in order to take over the airport. And usually, much like with the 1 cent infrastructure tax that was passed years ago, there's a board that the only way we can get this board is if we agree that the governor and the lieutenant governor, who are, of course, Republicans and generally opposed to helping Jackson, if they can have the majority of the votes on that board, then those things can come into being. So the water, they wanted a regional water authority, but I question whether or not, since Rankin County is no longer on the city of Jackson's water, are we going to have some say into what's going on? Will Rankin County system or will Madison County system be part of a regional water authority? Or is it what you're saying that once again, people who don't live in Jackson will have the majority of votes in voting on how decisions regarding Jackson water? And again, since you have an influx of federal money that, so far as I'm aware, Trump ain't canceled yet.
Right.
You have an influence of federal money that has come in over the last year and a half, that these people want that money so they can control who gets contracts to do repairs and upgrades to the water system in Jackson. That's all that's about. That's about redistribution of income. So, you know, I know both. I know our outgoing mayor. I've known him since he was too young to shave.
Right.
And I know John Horn. I've known him since I was a student at Jackson State. I'm hopeful for the Horn administration as it comes in. I think the biggest problem with the outgoing Lumumba administration was that the citizens, after a while, saw Lumumba as being ineffective. They saw the city regressing in terms of infrastructure, regressing, losing population, and not progressing, and knew that Lumumba is not getting any help. He and the governor can't stand each other. He's not getting any help from the Republicans, and he's not going to. And I think that the citizens just said that it's time for change. And if we're just going to also be honest and not ignore the elephant in the room, it is not helpful when you are under a federal indictment.
Correct.
Just isn't. So, a lot of people that might have supported him for a third term, when that indictment came down and that news came down, they were out. I was in a bit of a Twitter conversation. I wouldn't even call it an argument earlier today with a guy who, was just like, okay, well, nobody's talking about Horn's DUI. There is a great argument that Horn's DUI cost him a legitimate run at the mayorship when Yarber won, I believe.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
He got that DUI. He then tried to run for mayor, and I believe a lot of the reason he didn't get support was because of that DUI.
That's right.
And so, the fact of the matter is also that was like 10 or 11 years ago.
Yep. And
a DUI is not the same as a federal bribery indictment. Those two totally different things. One's a felony, one's a misdemeanor. One's 10 or 11 years old, and one occurred this past year. And you have what looks to be several public officials who have been entangled in that web, including the mayor. And the one thing I can tell you about federal criminal law, as a general rule, the feds do not even make their presence known until they have enough information to convict you. If they're not sure they can get a conviction, they will never even let you know that there's an investigation. The only reason that they came out at the time they did was that they believed that there was money that needed to be recovered that was handed over on that yacht, and they moved because the money was the evidence, or the money was primary evidence. The tapes also will be evidence. So they wanted to recover that money so they could, say to a jury, here are these marked bills. They took them with the intent to accept bribes for, this hotel that had been proposed. And that's why, and the mayor's name got caught up in that. He was accused of taking $50,000 in illegal campaign donations. Mm-hmm. If people wanted a different outcome, more people should have come out to vote. I highly agree with you, C. Lee. We have too many people who want to sit home and armchair quarterback things.
Yep.
But will not get up and drive probably less than 10 minutes to their local polling place.
Right.
Most don't give a damn.
Right.
Because it's become we just live in a climate where talking crap, especially on social media, people really think when they say stuff, it means something. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't do anything for the grand scheme. I did want to put this up there. Said, Brother Celia and Trent, how would you rate the performance of the Capitol Police thus far in the areas they patrol in Jackson? Has crime declined in those areas?
So let me answer the last sentence first.
Okay, go ahead. No, crime is not declined.
There you go. Now, what has increased is the amount of people discussing harassment. What has increased the amount of, and this gets into a tricky thing, the amount of Capitol Police patrolling areas that, based on their reign, should be patrolling areas. What has increased are a number of Jackson State students who were detained by Capitol Police one time during an election day. So the Capitol Police is basically a land grab by the governor. The governor's way to extend and expand downtown Jackson. Oh, and by the way, last point I make, because not just Jackson, they don't put the other part, Ridgeland and other surrounding areas can't pay what's coming from the governor's personal fund to pay the Capitol Police. It ain't just Jackson losing police officers now. So you are basically allowing the governor to create his own militia that is creating more fear than reducing crime, and at the same time depleting officers' own forces around the Jackson metro area. I'll shut up.
You know what? Only because I'm a lawyer will I add anything to what it is C. Lee just said, because I don't disagree with one word he said. The Capitol Police were created just because the governor wants to control the city of Jackson.
Of course.
The same money that you use to create an entire police force and pay them at a scale higher than not just Jackson, but all your surrounding cities.
That's facts.
The same money that you use to create an entire police force, and it's not just salaries. You know, you're talking about all those black and white vehicles you see going around here. You're talking about a headquarters for them and all the infrastructure that goes into having a police force. The same money you use to do that, you could have used to actually fund the Hinds County Sheriff's Department and the City of Jackson Police, because it's not that those two departments are incompetent. Much like the city, a large part of the problem is that they do not have the resources that they need, in particular, because they are trying to do so much with a large area with so few officers.
Right.
You know, at one point in time, and I know the city of Jackson's population was a lot higher. I think it was during Mayor Harvey Johnson's first term. They had what was called the Linder-Maple study. And that study said at that time, Jackson should have had 600 police officers.
Yep.
And we probably only had 300 at that time. Right now, I don't know if we have 200 full-time officers for the city of Jackson.
Trent, I'm only laughing because I love Mayor Johnson. He was the king of the study. Let's move on. I love Harvey Johnson. Harvey Johnson was the king of the study. So when you mentioned the Linda Maper, it brought back all them old thoughts. So Harvey Johnson was going to have a study commission. Go ahead.
Well, and let me say something too along those lines is, you know, the state of Mississippi and Republican politicians didn't just start failing to be able to get along with the leadership of the city of Jackson. You know, Kane Ditto was the last white mayor. Yep. That was he left office and Mayor Johnson took over in 1997. And if you know Harvey Johnson, he is nothing if not a moderate. And people, you know, the state had a problem dealing with Harvey Johnson. And if you can't get along with Harvey, you can't get along with anybody.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
I mean, he's not a difficult man to get along with. You know, a lot of the criticism of Harvey Johnson was that it seemed like all of his accomplishments always seemed to occur during an election year. So, you know, at one point in time,
the other 3 years he was doing them studies.
So because Marshall Ramsey, who was he's still a local cartoonist. He's with Mississippi Today, but he was with the Clarion Ledger. But he had created a character for Mayor Johnson called Election Man.
Yep.
Based on that premise that everything got done during election year, so that was his biggest thing. But first of all, he was competent.
Right.
He was, and when he became mayor, he had been a city administrator.
Right.
In point of fact, what he did, and I actually, when I was in grad school at Jackson State, interned in his office, was he administered grants for small towns and cities who didn't have the knowledge base to be able to go out and get those grants or to administer them so that they could improve their own infrastructures. I mean, small towns like Alligator and places like that, and even some small towns over in Louisiana that he was working with.
As a note, my first little high school girlfriend was Alligator and Bobo, baby. Up there in the building, was a good girlfriend. Look, hey Ken, and she quit me because she was from Alligator and the guy from Bobo, Mississippi, young man, we was in high school together, and she said he wanted to fight you for me. I said who? And his homeboy played on the football team. He was 6'6", 280. She said, "You gonna fight him for me?" I said, "I wouldn't fight traffic for you." So yeah, Alligator, Mississippi. Shout out to Alligator, Mississippi, and that little honey who wanted me to fight 6'6", 280. Go ahead, brother Trent.
Hey, that just takes you back to the 5 Heartbeats. I got to fight every night to prove my love
for you.
Not this one, baby.
Nah. So, but the long and my principal point, you can't particularly just put it all on Antar as being ineffective or what have you. If the state's refusing to work with you, then it is hard to be effective. Right. I know a lot of legislators, and they go in and everybody has a Christmas wish list. But if you have not kowtowed or joined in with the Republicans, or if you've tried to represent your district, then a lot of the stuff that on your Christmas wish list is not going to get funded. While I think there's been plenty in the paper about how easy it is for the Republicans to get their all the gifts up under their Christmas tree, gift wrapped and with pretty pink bows on them. So you're in a bit of a trick bag, and I think a lot of the attraction about John Horn was that people felt like they were and are getting someone who knows how to go and talk to the Republican power structure, somebody that is used to dealing with them and with whom they are used to dealing. And I think that was but a lot behind his particular base of support, and why his base of support was and is at this point so diverse. Can he keep that base of support? We will see. Because again, the gray hair affords you perspective. It is not that Harvey Johnson was a bad mayor. Why he lost to that idiot, may he rest in peace, Frank Melton.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
But it is because there was a perception that Frank Melton could be more effective than Harvey Johnson.
Trent.
Yes.
Question. Looking at how Frank Melton ran his campaign. Was he Trump before Trump?
Absolutely.
There we go. So if you wasn't around, for people who wasn't around, Frank Melton was Trump before Trump. The only difference was he was able to run the game on black people in the city as opposed to Trump running it on poor white people. Go ahead, Trent.
And I will tell you, I'm not on Facebook anymore, but the night that Trump was elected, I made a Facebook post that said, "Congratulations, America, you just elected Frank Melton." People in Jackson, Mississippi know what I'm talking about. Now, you'd have to go about 8 years. My Facebook page is still up. I'm just not on it. You'd have to go back about 8 years through my post. I promise you it's there. He was Trump before Trump. He talked a good game. He swore he could solve crime in Jackson in 90 days.
Right. Go back to Beaver's statement. Because I'm gonna make a point here. Because I'm gonna make a point with I know Trent knows, and Ken may not be old enough to know. Trent, let me ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you a question about a person. Not how he was perceived by white people. Okay, I'm gonna prep this person I'm about to ask you about, not how he was perceived by white people. Based on his educational ideology and thrust, would you consider John A. Peoples a radical?
Ask me that question one more time.
Okay. Not based on how he was perceived by white people. But based solely on John A. Peoples' educational ideology and his thrust for the university. Would you consider John A. Peoples a radical in the way in which this person is proposing the word radical?
I would not.
Thank you. That's my point. John A. Peoples was not a radical. But because he felt that Jackson State should have the same thing as Ole Miss and Mississippi State, IHL considered him a radical.
Correct.
So when you say Chokwe is too radical, my question, Beaver, would be point to a policy. Point to an actual policy when you could say the radical was when they would pull Chokwe in the back rooms and say, if you don't give me the airport, I'm not giving Jackson a damn thing. See, so what's sad is anytime a black person simply says, I'm going to stand for what's right for black people, they become a radical.
You was just I was going to say that. Keep going.
So again, people, have a civilized conversation with Republicans. Brother, you clearly don't know the intellect or the demeanor of Chokwe Anti-Lumumba to put such an asinine statement in the chat. And I want to be clear. I'm not insulting you. I'm simply deconstructing your last sentence because there's no way you could understand the temperament and the ability to articulate precisely his ideas to say that he was the problem with the Republicans. I'm sorry, Trent, you were going to say something. Go ahead.
Hold on. I want to address this statement that just came up. And we're not trying to say let the city crumble before we allow the Republican government to take over. You're correct. The governor won't work with any mayor unless that mayor basically does what all of Trump's appointees are doing nowadays and just saying whatever it is that the governor wants, the governor gets.
Kiss the ring.
And, we're talking about radicals and moderates. And I go back to Harvey Johnson and I mentioned that 1 cent sales infrastructure tax. Harvey Johnson, you know who that actually passed under was Chokwe Sr.
So and Chokwe basically said, I didn't want it, but it was the only way to get the convention center.
It was the only way. And so
which, by the way, Chokwe should be given as much credit for that convention center as anybody. Go ahead, Trent.
But Harvey Johnson would not agree to that board.
Would not.
And therefore, they would not pass the 1 cent tax as long as Harvey Johnson was the mayor because Harvey wouldn't agree to the board. And again, if you look at demeanor, and a lot of people, I'm going to take you even further back in 1993 when it was determined that we had the population to actually elect a black mayor. There was a convention at the M.W. Stringer Grand Lodge.
Yep.
There was a convention to nominate a black mayor. All right. And again, I happen to have been interning for Harvey Johnson. I was in grad school at this point in time. It was right before I left to go to law school. Harvey Johnson did not participate.
Nope.
Henry Kirksey was nominated, ran as quote unquote the candidate of the Black Convention. Harvey ran also. Harvey got more votes than Henry Kirksey.
Yep. Split the vote.
Now, split the vote, and Kane Ditto won, which was the last term of any white mayor in Mississippi, 1993 to 97. But Kane Ditto, that was Kane Ditto's what, third term by that point?
I think so.
You know, so in any event, so Harvey came back, ran again in 97, and just heads up won. And I think by then Henry Kirksey had passed away anyway. But what we're saying, no, Brandy, nobody wants anyone to lay down. What we're saying is you have a Republican government that if John Horn does what John Peoples did for Jackson State, or what Harvey Johnson or what Chokwe Sr. Did or tried to do in standing up for Jackson, the same way that they won't work with Antar, they're not going to work with John Horn either, because, you know, what the city of Jackson needs is partners.
Right.
What they are proposing is a system where they have oversight and supervision over everything. Mm-hmm. And when you allow that, then the only thing that you can ever be is a puppet of the Republican government.
That's correct.
Right.
And so why Chokwe had the support that he had and why people are opposed to John is because a lot of people feel like Chokwe has been fighting for the city, and he has, you know, but I do not want to sit up here and foreclose that John will not fight for the city, will not fight for the water system, will not fight for the airport, will not fight for the infrastructure needs that this city has. We talked about briefly Monday, Ken, the issue of gentrification. If you ask me, some gentrification is not a bad thing.
Nope.
You know, it is not. We need businesses to reopen and move in. You know, on my way to the office is the Porsche dealership. I got to pass it every day. And there's a big sign out, this building for sale. The Porsche of Jackson is moving.
Mm-hmm.
I strongly suspect they're not going to remain in the city limits.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is there are a lot of empty buildings, more and more empty buildings. And the fact that you have all these homeless people walking up and down Frontage Road that weren't there 2 or 3 years ago probably isn't helping for Porsche's target audience to have to drive by that.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, there are a lot of considerations here, and it's not a question of one person being a sellout and one person, you know, being, you know, the new Malcolm X or whatever the case may be. A lot of it is the practicalities of this thing and what can we do to get reinvestment in the city as opposed to continued divestment.
Right. So I would just say this. I because sometimes we act like we don't know what people mean. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't know what Trent means, Brother Trent means when he says some gentrification is good. The way I would couch it is this.
What benefit is that?
Beaver. The airport generates $980 million that is distributed fairly. Oh, and by the way, you do know that the management of the airport has to have both state and federal regulations. One of the things we have going for us, because you clearly didn't hear Brother Trent say, this lawsuit has been going on for years now. You want to know one of the reasons why the lawsuit has been going on for years now? Because both state and federal oversight has said that the Jackson Municipal Airport, small as it is a top-tier airport. So if it's a top-tier airport, not based on City McInnes, not based on Chokwe, not based on the black people in Jackson, based on the state's regulations and the federal regulations, has said that the city, that the Jackson Airport is a top-tier airport. So if it's a top-tier airport, please, Beaver, put with specifics in the chat how it would be better managed if it's already being certified as a top-tier airport. I'll let Trent step in, and then I want to say something else.
Okay, what I'm going to say is this. The issue with the airport has never been the management of the airport.
Thank you.
The issue with the airport is you have a truckload, I almost said something else, of undeveloped land that surrounds the airport. Based on Jackson's size and the current population of the metro area, the airport's probably not going to get a lot bigger. There may be some things that change within the airport, but it's not, I mean, you have so much traffic in, so much traffic out every day. And you have so many airlines in, so many airlines out. Southwest moved. People said, well, the reason Southwest moved was because of the management of the airport. No, that was a business decision of Southwest. You know how I know? Because Southwest is back, and you still got the same management of the airport that was there when they made the decision to leave.
They came right on back.
Southwest did nationally. But the whole issue, you know, the person who came up with the bill to take over the airport in the first place was Senator Josh Harkins. You may know his name because if you drive up and down Lakeland Drive, you see Harkins Realty all over the place. He's a state senator. He represents Flowood, and he basically was trying to arrange so that the development of the land around the airport that is owned by the airport and therefore by the city of Jackson, so that the airport authority does not control the development of that land. They're going to take that land, develop it, and sell it, and then the city of Jackson don't get no money. And how will that benefit the citizens of the state of the city of Jackson?
Exactly.
All that money, much like that water money I was talking about, will then be redistributed into these rich Republican hands that have still not accounted for the $77 million in welfare money that was stolen. And I'm not quite sure how much of it is recovered. But, you know, we keep assuming that the state's going to be better at stuff. They're not even good at making sure that the money they got is not abused, misused, and stolen. So before I have a conversation about them going to be much better at doing stuff, they need to account for that first. And that probably ain't all they need to account for.
Beaver, clearly you have never caught a flight in your life. Because if you've ever caught a flight in your life, you understand that direct flight options are based on two things.
Population.
Volume of flights and the hub.
That's
now,
right.
I know Trent and Brother Ken can tell me whose hub is in Dallas and whose hub is in Atlanta.
Americans in Dallas and
Southwest,
Delta
American,
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Delta. So Americans hub is Dallas, Charlotte.
Right.
I think
Americans in Charlotte also.
Yeah, it's
right.
Charlotte.
So look, baby, I'm not Beaver. Trust me. My frustration is not with you. You just represent all the other people who make these kind of asinine statements. The direct flights have nothing to do. Here's what you need to understand. It's a conglomerate of airlines. They operate under the hub. What determines a direct flight is the number of flights they have and the hubs that they have.
So
you could build a bigger airport, you could build a bigger hub. What's gonna change that is the number of flights. And again, that's what Trent is saying. It's not about that. It's about the development of land. Go ahead, Ken and Trent, because I want to get to something that D-Tiger Nation, the undefeated, put in the chat.
No, the direct flights, you said it, they don't really have much to do with it. Like, for example, Southwest came back to the airport, and now Southwest hub is Houston. We'll fly to Houston Hobby, but now it will fly you to Nashville. Nashville is becoming a direct point now. So now you have direct flights to Nashville out of Southwest. Because if you just put in a Jackson to Dallas flight, hell, you may not get to go straight to Houston then to Dallas. They'll take you to Nashville now. You lay over there, and then you'll go to Dallas. So it really, Brother C. Lee said what he said, but to this point, too often we take things that don't relate and we try to make that stick with a talking point, and this, you kind of don't want to, well, you shouldn't do that. I want to touch this before we go to that. Brother Reggie Bird, and we're going to come back. I had this comment start. I want to get y'all thoughts on this, and then, because this is that catch-22 we talk about, right? If being a puppet will get the water system fixed, more business will come back to the city and keep the roads repaired. What's wrong? Basically, what's wrong with being a puppet? That's the question.
All right, so my position is this. They don't want to repair the water system, Brother Reggie Bird. It's not even now. I'm not saying that Horn can't get this done. I want to be clear. It's about choking the life from the city of Jackson. I've been saying this for 2 years. Here's where black folk in Jackson need to pat themselves on the back. Jackson, Mississippi is the only city in America where you Negroes are too strong to be gentrified. They tried to starve you out. They tried to choke you out. They tried to shoot you out. You Negroes, you know what? You Negroes are worse than the Jews in Egypt. When Pharaoh tried to kill the Jews in Egypt, you Negroes won't die. That's why they hate y'all. They can't get rid of y'all. So you have to understand that they don't want, as Brother Trent said, they want the money. Remember, Governor Tater Tot is on record. Remember, he bragged about diverting money that was Jackson money to another place. He's on audio. He bragged about taking money from Jackson and sending it somewhere else. So again, the problem is, if you are a puppet, it's only a puppet so that you can then finally remove as much of the black. The goal is to choke Jackson out, to remove as much of the black population as possible so they can have a majority neo-Confederate population. That's the end game. Yep. And you Negroes won't die. In fact, you Negroes keep multiplying. Give yourself a pat on the back. Now, I do want to say this because I want Brother Trent, lead it up because I want Brother Trent to answer that. I just want to, Tiger Nation D undefeated. You thank Brother Trent for addressing the indictment. I addressed the indictment 2 weeks ago in an article that went around the country. The only difference is, and I'm in the minority. I did address the indictment. And you know what I said? If y'all ain't mad you got a damn felon as president, I ain't got no problem having somebody indicted as mayor. Now, I ain't saying that everybody else should feel that way. I'm simply saying that number one, okay. Let me put it to you this way, Unstoppable 25. I never heard that directly said. Now, if you're saying you heard that, I never heard that. Brother Trent wanted to say he's heard that, but I never heard that said.
I read it in the WLBT article today. There was some. And
Unstoppable 25. The question is, how can I put this? Go check the names of the elected officials who've been active in the case. So when you talk, it's one. Let me put it to you this way. During the Ayers case, I was one of the instructors at Jackson State who would go to Oxford in the federal case and fight in the Ayers case. There were a lot of Jackson State professors, Brother Trent, who had PhDs, who had tenure, who talked a good game, but never took their ass to Oxford to help us fight in the Ayers case. So when you're talking about who is fighting to keep the airport. My only statement of undefeated 25 is go check the actual names of the elected officials who've been directly involved in the case, and that'll give you some idea. But I want Trent to respond to that. But I just wanted to say the Tiger Nation be undefeated. I did address the indictment. Again, if y'all ain't got no problem having a felon for president, I ain't got no problem having somebody indicted who's been indicted on felony charges for mayor. I'll shut up and let y'all go.
Oh, well, don't know what I can add to that. You saw me clap when you said it the first time. There's a lot of holier than thou when it comes to applying one standard for Republicans in power and then another standard when Democrats are at issue. There's a lot of holier than thou. I spoke a second ago about the welfare scandal. Not one hearing has taken place in that legislature about what happened with that welfare money. Not one. When everything came to light, the legislature was not in session. They should have spent half of the legislative session holding open hearings and making people show up by subpoena, holding their feet to the fire about that money. So again, it's okay for the white Republican power base in this state to steal, kill, and destroy, to use a biblical phrase, but it is not okay for Democrats. Now, I'm going to tell you, for me, and again, I've known Antar since probably before he was a teenager. I considered his father to be a mentor of mine. But the long and short of it is the indictment. There was a time when, innocent or guilty, if you got indicted, then you really just, for the sake of the citizenry, you would stand down, innocent or not. You would stand down because it was just too much of a distraction. And that time clearly is past.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. And I hear what you're saying. What would you say to somebody who said, should Mike Espy have stood down?
I always thought that the charges against Mike Espy were, see, I try not to curse on camera.
I don't.
We know, Ken.
Right.
But these were, the charges against Mike Espy, stemming back to when he was Secretary of Agriculture,
right,
was politics to start with.
Right.
If you go back and look at those charges, pure politics, they accused Mike Espy of accepting bribes when what it was that he was meeting with people who took football tickets. It's not like a certain congressman from Louisiana who had the cash in his freezer when they went, what we call cold hard cash.
And in fact, Trent, the crazy part was
cold money, that frozen money.
The crazy part was Mike didn't even use the tickets. Somebody he knew used the tickets.
Right.
Remember, the tickets was the setup, and somebody else used the tickets, and so you're right about how shaky those charges were.
And not just that, what it is they accuse him of. Congressmen do it every day. Take game tickets, take trips funded by whoever, various lobbying groups and so forth. But they were saying that it was criminal for him to do it as Secretary of Agriculture. Again, different point in time.
Right.
Nowadays, nobody would bat an eye if that is even, considered to still be against the law. But, I was just saying, I think Chokwe's.
No, I understand your point.
There's a lot of evidence. you know, there's a lot of evidence there that I think that when the rubber meets the road, it's going to be hard for him to get past.
And to Beaver, I love Beaver the way every time I address one issue, you come up. That's fine. I told you, look, it's been litigated, but the garbage collection contract, that wasn't Showquay, player.
No,
that was the city council. See, again, it's these kind of asinine. Again, I'm not calling you asinine, Beaver. Let me break it down. And by the way, both Brother Trent and Ken talked about this ad nauseum. That's a legal word for Trent, by the way. They talked about this ad nauseum. What happened with the garbage collection for one last time, Beaver? The city council created the rules for choosing the applicants, had the process for choosing the applicants, chose in a blind process an applicant, and then when they realized it was a black-owned company, they cried foul. That wasn't the mayor. So let me say it again for you, Beaver. Because the city council, the mayor didn't have you can't don't stop moving the goalposts, Beaver. The city council, let me say it for you one last time, Beaver.
Beaver is making me sip my ginger ale.
Yeah. See,
out my Jackson State glass.
Let me tell you what happened. This would be Brother Ken, how tall are you?
6'3".
Okay. Me and Trent about to play basketball. We're gonna play 2-on-2. And Trent said, well, hey, CD, pick who you pick. I'm 5'10", I pick my partner. He 5'10" too. Trent said, well, I got Ken. Oh, hell no, I don't like them rules. That is what happened. The city council, Beaver, they were in control. All the mayor did was said, and by the way, the mayor tried to keep the city from being sued because the company out of Louisiana was in right to sue the city because the council was reneging on the process that it created.
Yes.
That's it. I'll shut up.
All of this. No, okay. At the bottom line, there was a bid. Richards was the low bidder, but Waste Management had people who were entrenched waste management people for their own personal reasons. You can decide what those reasons might be for yourself. So they, even though the law says you must give the bid to the lowest and best bidder. So really the argument then became what made Waste Management best over Richards. Truthfully, it's the same service because once I take my trash to the road, as long as it gets picked up, I, as a citizen, don't really care about all the intricacies. I'm responsible for getting my trash to the curb, and I'm responsible for bringing an empty can back up by my house. But the fact of the matter is, with regard to the garbage contract, Chokwe was in the right, in my opinion. You had the low bid, and the city council or members thereof wanted to do something other than the low bid for whatever those reasons are. And all I will say is usually, what is it, Occam's razor? The simplest explanation is usually the correct one. So I'm just going to say, let's go back and follow the money and see where that leads.
Well,
so
one of them said
Waste Management should not have won the bid.
One of them said that Waste Management, one of them actually admitted that Waste Management was a major contributor to their campaign. And that's not illegal, by the way. I was want to say not illegal, but,
no.
As, you know, but so again, so I just wanted to, again, and I want to be clear. I'm not here to litigate who should be the mayor. Ain't no litigating who the mayor. I just want everybody to chat to know, like, this ball game over. This ball game over. And that's why I urge everybody. I urge everybody. My wife just emailed me and said I'm loud. Oh, I'm sorry, wife. And to people in the chat for being loud.
I'm expecting that same email shortly.
So here's what I'll end on this, if in case anybody else has any more questions. I would again advise everybody, read Rita Brent's Facebook post, because her post was by somebody who loved the city. Trent loves the city. Ken loves the city.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to be clear. I know I'm on the screen with two people who love the city, and by the way, have skin in the game, have worked in Ken has done things pro bono for folks.
Beaver is back.
Beaver, you know what? You're correct. It was embarrassing. But the reason it's embarrassing is because you had people who could not act in the best interest of the citizens, and instead acted in an interest, whether it was theirs or Waste Management's, that was not in the best interest of the citizens. And the reason that people were mad at everybody, I used this example before. The key to a successful relationship is to make sure that you do not have the other person in your relationship thinking about things that they should never have to think about.
Yep.
We shouldn't really ever have to think about, when I turn the water on, will there be clean water coming out? Facts. We should never be thinking about, when I take my trash to the curb, will it be picked up? We shouldn't have to think about those things. And the fact that we were made to have to think about those made everybody look bad.
Yep. But we should also have critical thinking citizens who can understand a simple process. I mean, essentially, all the mayor was saying is that this is not legal. It's not right. And I don't know what anybody else wanted to do. No, but that wasn't your point. Your point was that Mayor Soke Lumumba, your initial point was that Mayor Soke Lumumba was the cause of the trash issue. And he wasn't. That's your point. And I'm one of the people who believe in keeping that same image. If you want to know what Celia is most petty, this is where I'm most petty. Don't change your point. Don't change your position. Don't tap dance. No, brother. I need you to stay right on the point, because that garbage thing blew up. So that's it. I'll shut up. Like I say, I know I keep coming back to it, because it is probably one of the. Okay, all right, brother B. We'll agree to let it go. But check out. Look, I want to be clear. I think that Trent has I know that Trent loves the city. I know that Ken loves the city. I know that the vast majority of the people in the chat.
I just wanted to point out that Beaver did say the mayor. So
thank you, Ken. Thank you. He said the city and the mayor. Thank you. There you go. Thank you. So, and again, I don't want anybody thinking I'm here to litigate the election. It's over. And let me be clear. And no matter how I wanted to go, that was the Jackson State, South Carolina State ass whooping. Let's be clear what it was. That was, hey, look here. They said mailman got to go to work. I was wondering who was getting that speech about the mailman got to go to work. Hey, look here. I saw the results at like 7:05. I was like, I can stop watching this game. It's over.
I knew it was over. I never did even watch the results. I knew where this was going. John Horn had 49% of the vote in the primary.
Yep.
And by the time you add up everybody else that didn't want to vote for Antar the first time, I was like, there's no way he's not going to pick up 2 or 3%.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't even remember what I was doing Tuesday night, even though it was last night, but it wasn't watching them results. So,
but I want to circle back to something, because, and I'm glad Trent is on the screen. Trent is not going to know every part of this, but he can.
No, co-pilot, that's not true.
Yeah, no. I'm glad when Ken talked about Tony Yarber. All right. My father at the time was the what was his position in the Hines County?
He was the chairman of the Democratic Party.
Yeah, my father was the chairman of the Democratic Party. The whole Democratic Party of the state, my father was the chairman of the Democratic Party. When, I'm not going to say Chokwe Sr., when Elder Chokwe passed, you know what my father said about that election, Brother Trent?
What was that?
He looked at me and he said, son, you know the biggest tragedy is? The two people most qualified to be mayor are not old enough to be mayor. Tony and Chokwe were both qualified to be mayor at the time. They weren't old enough to be mayor.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I bring that up is because probably more than anything else, if you look at Brother Yarber's tenure and you look at Brother Chokwe's tenure, growing up in the position probably had as much to do with doing them in as being intelligent and qualified for the position. I'm not saying that to anybody to excuse. I just, if we're talking about history, we're talking about it, and we'll get to Beaver's last question. But I want everybody to understand that when Elder Chokwe died, Jackson was left in a situation where we had two young brothers who were again qualified to be mayor, but they were probably too young to be mayor. And whatever we want to heap on both of them, I wish we would also understand that sometimes growing up in a position is not the most advantageous thing to be. I'll shut up because I know that was that last question that Beaver had. Unless Trent wanted to add something to that.
Well, I mean, I said the same thing at the time. I thought that the problem with Antar was that he didn't have enough gray hair. I said that in 2017.
Right.
And sure enough, a lot of the problems that came back to bite him. Same thing happened to Kwame Kilpatrick in Detroit.
Yep.
You know, there are a lot of pitfalls.
Expound on that so people that don't know understands. Just in a top line.
Well, there are a lot of pitfalls that you know to avoid when you have a bit more life experience and you know better how to not mix the public with the private. And in particular in Yarber's case, because a lot of stuff came out and it was just like,
right.
Come on, brother, you just really needed to be doing better.
Right.
And then, and in Chokwe's case, I think that a lot of pitfalls that have come his way were avoidable, but for his age.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm going to say this. Sometimes I'm critical of Kenny Stokes and sometimes I'm supportive of Kenny Stokes it's kind of situational. So, Kenny Stokes, whatever else you want to say about him, with regard to the language he uses or the persona and so forth, he avoids a lot of things because he sees things coming. Because if you think that nobody has ever tried to set Kenny Stokes up in the past,
right,
then
right.
You really need to think again.
Trent, put it this way. Here's what I tell people. Kenny Stokes got a damn law degree. If you think he's stupid, you stupid.
Yep.
That's all I'm gonna say. People forget that Kenny Stokes got a law. I agree or disagree with Kenny Stokes. Kenny Stokes got a law degree. Just one last thing. My wife just emailed me And then look, she said she knew it was over when the Republicans started voting for Horn. Now that's just that's so that's not right. That ain't me. Now she said she knew it on that. We joking, y'all. We joking. All right, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, can I say this too? The Republicans in the city are not stupid. They know that there's not about to be a Republican mayor,
right?
Or an independent who is a viable candidate who can win in the city of Jackson. So the Republicans largely, and by Republicans, I'm just going to say white people in Northeast Jackson.
Yep.
You know, a lot of them, you know, if you're white and living in Northeast Jackson, you probably had the opportunity to move to Madison or Rankin a long time ago.
Yep.
And a lot of them want the same thing that we want, which is a government and a mayor who can help the city progress and move forward. You know, we were talking Monday about the progress, and we singled out Fondren as an area, you know, that is, excuse me, that is progressing.
Yep.
And people want the same progress that we're seeing in Fondren, the same building that we're seeing in Fondren. People want that for other parts of the city. You know, you want the part of the city that you live in to be thriving, successful, to be a place where you can go outside and walk your dog at night, where you can accidentally leave your door unlocked and don't worry about whether or not somebody is going to be standing over your bed. You know, when you wake up, everybody wants that. And so people try to gravitate, and it's not that they have evil motive or intent, but they try to get what is best for them. And people support Horn because they feel like he's a vehicle to get there. Because, as we said early, it's very clear that the state Republican Party is not trying to work with Chokwe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and just like they didn't try to work with Harvey, they didn't try to work with Chokwe Sr. There is a history of this with people who have not been radical firebomb throwers. The people throwing the firebombs have generally been in the Republican Party.
Right. Right. And to William Carr, just go look at the numbers, brother. As Trent said, and he said a couple of times, just look at the numbers. It's almost, no, I'm going to say not almost, it's mathematically impossible for a Republican to be elected mayor in the city of Jackson. So the basically,
especially with who the nominee is.
Yeah, right. So so definitely, definitely, Horn is going to be your next mayor. They don't have the numbers. And something that was Trent. Remember Sheriff McMillan? Y'all remember Sheriff McMillan?
Yes.
Of course. All right. So to point Trent's point about the numbers. Before I was going when I was going to talk about when Stokes used to run for supervisor all the time, and he would go to bed in the lead, and he would wake up mad because he would forget about the white people who lived in Hines County. So he would cry bloody murder that they had stolen the election. The reason Sheriff McMillan lost, and I'm glad you brought this up, because it was a dumb mistake by the Republicans. The reason Sheriff McMillan lost was because for years the Republican Party never ran a candidate. So all the white Republicans in Hines County would simply vote for Sheriff McMillan. Now, let me be clear, and Trent can probably correct me. I didn't think Sheriff McMillan was a terrible mayor. Now, I think that we could have done better, but I wasn't one of those people. Probably Trent could probably know some things that I didn't know. But my point is, the reason Sheriff McMillan lost, the reason we got our first black sheriff of Hines County was because the Republican Party ran somebody, and so they went and voted for him, and the brother was able to walk in and get the nominee. And so that's what we're saying about those numbers, Carr. And so that's why those numbers speak to it is impossible for a Republican at this point. And so the Republican businessmen and the neo-Confederates seized an opportunity. Now, my saying this, seizing an opportunity is not me saying, again, I'm asking questions. I have no idea what kind of mayor Horn will be. So I don't want people coming over here saying, oh, Brother C. Lee won the show quit and he thinks Horn is going to be terrible and he's going to be, no. There was a coalition made. The coalition worked. And we'll have to see going forward, based on this coalition, will it be a partnership or will Jackson be colonized? That's it.
The point I was making earlier.
Right.
That was the point I was making earlier, is that what Jackson needs is partnerships. Yep. And what the only thing that's ever been proposed to us was, to use the term you just used, colonization.
Right.
That's the only thing that's ever been on the table is, hey, let us colonize you.
Right.
And so, all your mayors have said, no, we refuse to be colonized. If John Horn says, yes, come on, colonize us, he's going to be a one-term mayor. Bottom line.
And yes, I'm glad you said that. Go ahead. I lost my train of thought. There was one last thing. Go ahead, because there was one last thing.
Got about 7 minutes left.
Go ahead. If it don't come to me by then, I was looking at something in the chat. I don't even remember. What was it? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Trent.
They did ask a question, about Republicans voting as independent.
There's not enough. The Republican candidate, who is a black man, go look at his campaign finance report, which I have not done, but I can guarantee you that Joker probably ain't got $5,000 in his campaign account right now.
I hear this a lot. This is a pretty common. As long as we don't have reparations, we have to play the political game in order for us.
That's not true. That's not true. And let me tell you why it's not true, Unstoppable 25. You do know that black people, we have is it $61 billion? What's that? No, $1.2 trillion. We are a $1.2 trillion consumer base. Yeah. We are a trillion.
Well, our GDP, that's the term you're looking for.
Yeah.
Our GDP.
Yeah. Black people are $1.2 trillion GDP. All right, now check this out. I'm glad you said that, because this actually made me remember what I was gonna say. For all y'all screaming about new leadership, for all y'all screaming about this, that, and the other, I'm gonna make a statement. Please go check me. Cities do not fail because of white flight. There's never been a city to fail because of white flight. Cities fail because of black middle class flight. So go look it up. What kills cities is black middle class flight. And so here's what black people who want this new leadership, here's what you're going to have to understand. If you as a black person are not doing and promoting, buy in Jackson, invest in Jackson, spend your money in Jackson. I'm talking about intentionally. I'm talking about doing, see, now, like, I'm on record. I'm not saying this like it's a big thing. People know. I don't shop outside Hines County. I missed many a great thing because I like to shop in Hines County. So you got your new leadership, but I'm going to tell you the same thing. If you don't support your new mayor financially, you're going to be just as bad as the people who didn't support Chokwe financially. So you got a new mayor, but understand, if you're not spending your dollars and driving your dollars to Jackson and Hines County, so black people, we can complain about the elected officials. If black people are not fiscally responsible for our own liberation, right? All right, Beaver, go on. Okay, Beaver, there's your excuse, Beaver. Go ahead with your excuse, Beaver. That's fine. I'm good. I'm not going to debate that.
No. I'm gonna say something. Okay. If you don't feel safe shopping and spending money in Jackson, then that's a you problem. Because 150,000 people a day live, work, shop, spend money in Jackson. All right. We don't have a mall, but there are plenty of places to buy clothes. What are the things you're spending money on? Groceries, gasoline, clothing.
Yep.
The things that you are spending money on, there are plenty of places that you can get those. If safety is an issue for you, shop in the daytime.
There you go.
Okay. Shop in areas of the city where crime is less of a concern for you.
The question I have, Brother Trent, is how often are you in those areas to begin with? I go to Jackson very often, and I'm from Brown Bottom. I can't tell you when the last time I was there. There's no reason for me to go back. My grandmother doesn't live over there anymore. I every now and again I get the little hunch to just kind of drive through the neighborhood and just kind of see how it is, but there's no reason for me to go over there. I'm not whatever, you know what I mean?
But other than mom and pop stores, ain't no stores in Brown Bottom.
Right.
It's not. So, but my point is everything I need I can get right there in Jackson. I mean, there's a whole little. You can get what you need. Now, of course, you just Madison and Rankin counties, of course, to do certain things, but that ain't it. That's not
so
it.
So I'll just say this. So basically then to Beaver and Tommy Burrell, you wasted your time getting new leadership then. If you're saying I'm not gonna financially invest in the city, then you have wasted your time getting new leadership. You basically are sending Horn to war with no ammunition. In fact, you pushing him on the front line by itself. So if that's what you're saying, Brother Burrell and Brother Beaver, then what you're saying is the city of Jackson just wasted its time getting a new mayor because you're saying that I am not. Let me pull it back because I don't want to that I am not going to invest in the city of Jackson. So basically, Brother Burrell and Brother Beaver, this whole conversation was meaningless. For you two, this whole conversation was meaningless because regardless of who the mayor is, you're not investing fiscally in the city anyway. I'll shut up.
I don't know what I need to add to what just got said. See, Lee, you keep saying things. White flight to Madison County.
Beaver, that's what I just said. Beaver, that's what I literally just said, that Beaver.
You know what you say behind that, Brother Seeley? I rest my case.
There you go. I rest my case. Beaver, let me say it slowly, Beaver.
Hey, Beaver,
remember I said
let me ask you a question. I got some questions for Beaver. What school did you go to, bro?
Please don't say Jackson State. Please don't say Jackson State.
I need a high school or something. Give me something, man. Give me something.
We agree. For the first time tonight, we agree.
But let me say it slowly. Beaver, I said white flight has never destroyed a city.
Wait.
It's middle class black flight.
No, somebody else said that. Beaver ain't said where he went to school.
You know what? I can tell if he went to FAMU or not. Okay.
We done.
I was gonna say, look here, Ken. Let me look on my phone because anybody that's not Jackson State, I got them blocked. So
he said JSU. No, I don't believe that.
All right, I'm done. I'm done.
Hey, listen, man. This was great. I wanted to let you guys. It's been a minute since y'all been up, and thank you for coming up, man. This. We're gonna be doing this again. Trust me, we're gonna be doing this a few more times. When is exactly the actual election for the that Horn is gonna be the runoff?
Not the runoff,
June.
June. General is in June.
First Tuesday in June.
I have to look it up if I'm being honest. If we're being honest, the Democratic primary determines who's going to be the mayor.
Yeah.
So, for practical purposes, June is a formality. I'm going to vote because I do my best to vote in every election if I can, whether it matters or not. And June will not matter.
June 3rd. My wife just emailed me. It's June 3rd. My wife just emailed me. It's June 3rd.
There it is. Hey, well, listen. While everybody's there, I'm gonna say this again. Need y'all to sign up for the collective. Everything we talked about. This is just another microcosm of everything that we're talking about. The ability for us to be able to fund our own whatever. We have the money. The money just that money stays in our community. How long, Brother C. Lee, before it exits?
7 hours.
Not long.
7 hours. Gone somewhere else to benefit somebody else. Man, click the link in the chat if you haven't signed up. Man, you know, if you were pricked today about the portal entry, click that link, sign up, find a level. We did get a sign up tonight. Shout out to the young brother. Appreciate that. Appreciate the support. Let's keep it coming. If you're watching on Facebook, do us a favor, head over to YouTube, KC-1400 Media, hit the subscribe button. If you're on Twitter, X, go over to YouTube, KC-1400 Media, hit the subscribe button. Hey, we appreciate you guys. Look, Friday, we'll you know, just be on the lookout for a Friday show. Can't say if we will or won't. I'm still trying to determine because I may be getting a little slizzard because my birthday's coming up. I'm just trying.
Ken, can I give one quick thing?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
For those of you who are not on the newsletter, I sent something out today, but I'm gonna send something out Friday, and it's I think this goes with kind of what we were talking about tonight.
Yeah. Make sure y'all, if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, but see, let them know how to get the newsletter. And
you can go to Substack and then just look for psychedelic literature. Go to Substacks and look for psychedelic literature. You can sign up for the newsletter. Ken, I'm gonna start by asking, and y'all have probably seen the thing, but that's Brother Ken and Brother Trent. Let me ask you a question. Why would I buy 2 tickets to a movie that I'm not gonna ever see? What would you think would possess me to buy 2 tickets to a movie that I'm not gonna ever see?
If you plan to give those tickets to your children.
That's a good idea. That's a good guess. That's a good guess. Ken, want to take a guess?
Financial support, because you're a fan of someone who is actually either someone you're a fan of that either made the movie or own the theater, or the theater's location.
Right? There we go. So I bought 2 tickets to Sinners for opening weekend. That I'm probably never gonna see that movie because I don't mess with horror. I don't look at horror. I don't deal with horror. Film? I don't. Yeah,
it's a horror film.
Yeah,
it's to do with vampires and so forth.
Yeah, vampires. Once I saw now let me say this.
Films, man.
So let me tell everybody why I bought the tickets. I bought the tickets because I'm from Clarksdale, Mississippi. The movie is set in Clarksdale, Mississippi.
Wow.
The movie is a lovely Ryan Coogler, the same brother who directed Black Panther, the same brother who directed Fruitville Station. Ryan Coogler wrote the movie as a love letter to his uncle. His uncle was from Mississippi, who migrated in the 50s to Oakland, California. And his greatest memory of his uncle was his uncle listening to the blues. So Sinners is partly a love letter to Coogler's uncle and a love letter to the blues, and is set in Clarksdale, Mississippi. Because I know that they pull black movies early after opening weekend. Because I got enough information from people that I trust that it's a great movie, I bought tickets because I know it's important to support great black art. So that's another example of sometimes if you're not financially invested, you can't complain that we don't have any great black movies if every time we get a great black movie, we don't support them. And you can't complain that we losing our athletes if you're not taking advantage of some of the ways to donate to the collectives that we have. So that's why I wanted to end on that I bought 2 tickets to Sinners. I don't do vampires. I don't do blood and gore. But from what I can tell, I've listened to enough people that I trust. I've listened to Ryan Coogler, and again, because if you don't support an opening weekend, so that's just another example that if you're not invested with your money, my grandmama used to drag me. I end on this. My grandmama used to drag me to the church business meeting, and I was 6 years old. I used to, well, why, grandmama, you drag me? My grandmama used to say, if you don't attend the church business meeting, you're probably not a member of the church. And so if you are not financially invested, you probably not invested. I'll shut up.
Very well said. Thank you. Appreciate that, man. I'm gonna go see Sinners. I plan on doing it. I'm not gonna not go see it. I've heard. I gotta go see it because I'm sick of all y'all on social media telling all the damn movie. Golly, man. It's like, bro, y'all okay? Y'all saw the movie. I don't want to know it right now. I ain't got to be in no hurry. Just so you don't ruin it for me. You know what I mean? But no, man, we appreciate everybody. Again, Friday is if I don't come on live, I'll be on recorded. But there will be something 9 p.m. on Friday. I just can't say whether it'll be live or not. You may not want to see me on here live. Brother Trent, I got something for you, man. It's coming down the pipe. We struck a really awesome partnership, man, with Collective. It's coming. Give us about a good month, man. We trying to get something approved, and I think everybody's gonna be excited about it. Once I know that it's coming, I'll share it with people. But it's pretty fun, some fun stuff, man, and I'm excited about it. We got a big event coming up in Atlanta in June. We'll kick that summer off, so we want to definitely connect with both Atlanta chapters, alumni chapters over there, and looking to do some big time stuff, man. So y'all be on the lookout for that. Go to www.KC-1400collective.com. Sign up for the collective. We're gonna do another round of athletes. I know, and we're looking to try to sign some more athletes. We can't do that without your support. But keep signing up. We're trying to get to 500 members. Hopefully by the end of May. That's our goal. So we still got about a good 80 maybe to go. So if you haven't signed up and you can, please do so. Appreciate everybody who has. Go ahead, Brother Trent.
Hey, look, thank you for allowing us the opportunity to come up. It's not purely a athletic discussion tonight, but the finances.
This is important.
Really, what we've been talking about all night, be it the city of Jackson or be it Jackson State, really it's an issue of financial support and having resources.
Yes.
If you have resources, you can achieve the things that you're setting out to achieve. If you don't have the resources, you're behind the 8 ball. And so those people who are on here and, you sat with us for the last 3 hours and 12 minutes, basically
everything that we talked about affects Jackson State.
Everything,
the airport, those who are traveling in the games, the Capitol Police. We're talking about the water system, everything in the city. We say this all the time. Jackson State is Jackson. And every single issue that we face in Jackson is felt at the university, the students, the faculty, administration, all that, the citizens, it's all a part of that. And we want to have healthy dialogue. We're not looking, regardless of where you fall on the other, on whatever side of the coin, we got to get back to a place where we can have dialogue that's not offensive, that's not that's engaging, that's also thought-provoking. I appreciate Beaver because Beaver showed forth his ignorance, actually not in a, when we say ignorance, not in a I'm not meaning that to be insulting. Ignorance just means you don't know or you're unaware of. And sometimes we can be talking and trying to attach certain things that don't really go. And when you have that conversation, I can guarantee you there are a ton of Beavers that's out there that's listening. They just ain't talking in the chat.
Well, right. I'm sure C. Lee can say as a professor, there are really no dumb questions.
Right. Right.
A lot of times, if you are asking a question.
Next show.
Right.
I was about to say, man, we'd be on here another 2 hours.
That's another hour conversation. To LT, I know we have LT Watch Party. You are correct. I will just simply say this. when it comes to shooting movies, it is more feasible. It is more feasible. And watch this, y'all enjoy this irony. It is actually, so LT Watch Party put up that he wish it would have been shot in the Delta. I wish it would have been too. But a couple of things, LT Watch Party. Right now, the way it's constructed, it's more feasible to shoot movies in Jackson and Canton than in the Delta. But they don't look like the Delta. So actually New Orleans, setting wise, looks more like the Delta. So that's why I wasn't shot in Clarksville. I'll shut up.
We can park it right there. Great conversation. Appreciate everything, man. We'll do this again soon. Again, like I said, appreciate everybody. Make sure you subscribe to the content. Share it. I'm gonna clip out the interview of Miss Rhema Pegues.
Yes.
It was a great time.
Great interview.
That was.
Rhema, I enjoyed that. Great energy. Definitely appreciate her for tapping in and everyone. The NFL draft is tomorrow. We got some Tigers that's going to become NFL professionals, and we're going to be excited about it. So I'm going to say in advance a huge congratulations to obviously Travis Hunter, Shador Sanders, Shiloh Sanders, Cameron Silverman, Craig Robert McDaniel, Herb Mulligan, Philip Webb, any and everyone. We hope everyone, gets their name called. And if you don't, we, get on the team and go get that start money so you can get to that second contract, man. We're gonna be proud of you. We're gonna follow you either way. All right, Tiger Nation. Appreciate everybody, man. That's it for the night. I know what it is. Do y'all love?
Because I only love thee.
All right, everybody. Hey, go Tigers. Peace out.
Great day to be a Tiger. JSU by 40 campaign. Coach Taylor, I was just thinking, I was sitting in my office and we were talking about Jackson State athletics, the tradition of Jackson State. You played here. What if 50,000 alums gave $40 a month for 12 months?
Man, that would be huge. That's money in the bank for
athletic program. Let's do this, Coach. I'm challenging all 50,000 alumni of Jackson State University, supporters, fans. Let's give $40 a month to JSU by 40 campaign. 12 months, 12 million. September to August, let's win championships in the classroom. Let's support Jackson State University. Let's support athletics. And let's make sure our coaches and our student athletes are successful. So again, Coach Taylor and I are challenging you, all 50,000 alums, $40 a month for 12 months to support Jackson State athletics. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Support the JSU by 40 campaign. Visit gojsutigers.com/JSU by 40.
ShotRx is bringing healthcare to you. With our mobile health team, we can come to your school, church, or business to take care of you. We offer childhood immunizations, COVID and flu vaccinations, physicals, and much more. Don't put your health off. Welcome to Care and Compassion. Welcome to ShotRx.
Hey, this True Thompson. True, you got to get a word for Tiger Nation, man. I love y'all. Tiger Nation. Do y'all love? Go Tigers, baby. Appreciate you.